Team Freeview, it's time to return to a Tactica report here for your viewing pleasure. So, as stated in the first one, it seemed that you bosses seem to really enjoy the first one.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll do another one for you. You can expect to see a Tactica report here probably once a month. On average, and over and on demand, we do them weekly if you're interested in supporting us over there. Now, with this Tactica report today, we are going to delve into the world of ITC yet again. So we're going to do scenario 6, or mission 6 from the ITC Championship pack. There's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Today, and we have got something which I think will be relatively interesting for those of you which have a competitive mind, if you like. Recently, Mr. Richard Siegler from the US won the Atlanta Open, and he won it with Tau.
Yep.
He won it with Tau drone spam, shield drone spam. Very, very powerful lists, but that's not to take away from his piloting ability.
Oh no, he is a fantastic player.
You know.
You said you watched the stream, actually.
I did. I've spoken to Richard a couple of times, so if you're watching, Richard, hello, hope you're doing well.
Howdy.
So I'm going to emulate his list today. It's not model for model, because I just don't have the exact same stuff that he has, but it's definitely in a very similar vein.
Yeah.
I have drones for days. So many drones. But I think actually this matchup should be very interesting. It's pretty much going to be a war of attrition.
Yeah, that's it. So I think Chaos have this particular style list that we're about to cover has taken a bit of a hit, actually.
It did, yeah.
Post-chapter approved. I think it's still very good, though.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at the points, it's increased by about 120, which essentially means that you actually lose
another character.
You lose another character. But I wanted to take it for a spin because you do see it on the circuits quite a bit, or at least some sort of variation of this. And I wanted to see how it would do in the chapter approved 19 world. Let's see if it can still hold up. If it's something that's just going to completely fall out of favour as the meta changes so rapidly. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how it does in that
it
with
will
that
be interesting.
nerf, so to speak.
It will be interesting. It should be noted as well, I think the highest performing Chaos player the Atlanta Open was Austin Wingfield, who I've played before. He's a fantastic guy. Hello, Austin, if you're watching. And he was running a Chaos suit which actually had 3 Chaos Knights. Rampages, which, you know,
that is interesting.
Well, he's a very good player as well. So you always have to take into account there is player skill that goes with this.
Of course.
But he's a very good player. He's played Chaos a long time.
Sure.
When I played him at the LVO, he was also playing Chaos. I think it should be noted that his list, being that sort of Chaos suit, was the one that performed the best. So obviously yours isn't going to be that today. Having said that, just interesting that the Knights did do so well. Because I'm quite surprised by that in a way, because of the
because of Imperial Fists,
basically. You know, so quite interesting. So I'd like to sort of I'll probably have to have a little chat with him and see what he's up to with that. But,
you know what though, without looking at the lists of the Atlanta Open and looking at sort of the placements of armies, you know what I reckon it was? It's 3 Knights that you've got to deal with, and really, as an Imperial Fist, you're relying on damage 2 weapons. So actually, it will take you a long time to chew through all those wounds, and depending on the variant that you run, you've either got to split that firepower onto multiple Knights, which will just leave them all relatively healthy, or you're going to try and concentrate one down, and if you don't kill it, he just goes, all right, I'll be on top profile. So actually, because there is that lack of high damage weapons that you often see in Imperial Fists, because they just rely on heavy bolters for days, and thunderfire cannons and all that sort of stuff that's damage 2, maybe damage 3 at a push.
That's a lot of rate of fire, though.
It is, but it's still 5s to wounds.
And Centurions as well, just Rinse Knight.
Yeah, it's
It's an interesting one. Like he's obviously got some tactics.
Well, yeah,
up
clearly
his
there's
sleeve
obviously
there,
the skill
you
in
know.
there as well. And just spitballing ideas as to maybe how.
Yes, it's a curious one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But look, just from a competitive point of view, so if I'll just caveat this again because this is the second Tactica report we've ever done on Freeview. These reports are designed to be in more of a tournament style. Well, in fact, they are a tournament style report. Now, we're always going to be limited by the models that we have because we won't compromise on doing lots of proxying and stuff like that. But we will try and show you tournament lists that you would expect to see at at tournaments in and around your meta wherever you are playing, and we'll use tournament based missions, and quite a few of us here have frequented tournaments fairly regularly, so we have an idea of what happens at tournaments. So
yes.
This is your version of that report.
Very vague understanding.
Some more than
for
others.
me.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the tournament scene because this year I kind of took a break after the Warhammer World Finals. Because we were building a studio and all that sort of stuff. But next year I'm going to hit it hard. Yep. So if I can learn to command this sort of tower list, at least with some of the tactical prowess of people like Richard, I might do okay.
Right.
Well, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see, right?
Yeah. And if you are interested in doing more tournaments and these sorts of tacticas are your thing, obviously you've mentioned about we've got tactical reports on demand. Yep. But we've also just released that video of me, you and Beard talking about how to prep for a tournament.
Yep.
Right. So go check that out if you already haven't, because that gives you some insight into what you might need to do. Yeah. Especially if you're a first time tournament goer like I was a couple of years ago, and you go in and you kind of go, oh, I know nothing. Many mistakes were made. Many mistakes are still made. So how much did I really learn?
Well, look, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this. But again, my caveat is that if you are not into competitive play specifically, you might not enjoy this sort of format of battle report because it's not that we won't have fun, because we always do. There's always plenty of banter, but sometimes these reports can be over very, very quickly, like in 2-3 turns. However, this one...
Probably not this one.
This will actually probably...
Strap yourself
really
in, you're in for a long one.
So, just as a caveat, sometimes, some Alpha Strike armies, Raven Guard Centurion spam suddenly appearing and just deleting...
And that's it.
Can be over real quick.
That's the end.
So just bear that in mind. Hopefully, though, this game will try and create interesting stuff, but we'll also just show you where we can, the cutting edge style lists and what they're doing. Because I know a lot of you guys are interested in that. So let's get into these lists then. We'll kick off with, let's kick off with the town.
Sure, okay.
Okay, let's, Richard is the man of the moment, as it were.
Yes.
So let's cover his list. That's coming up next. So here we are, for the greater good, the Tau Forces of Bone. Closely resembling Richard's list, but not quite. Why don't you take us through it, sir?
Yeah, so I'm running a Battalion, a Vanguard, and an Outrider today. So, let's kick this off. Everything's Tau Sept. So I haven't mixed in Sasea because I'm not taking the Firesight Marksman. And I want all of that 5-up goodness in Overwatch. So yeah, cool. In the first battalion, they're not called battalions in Tacticas.
No, they're not called battalions anywhere really.
Yes, they are in the hearts of the many.
Dear.
But so I've got 2 Fireblades in there, both of which have 2 shield drones attached to them. One of them is my Warlord. I'll give him through Unity Devastation. Please help me remember it.
The best part about it is even when we remind you, it won't make any difference in this game.
It won't. It won't.
That's the best thing about it. It's like when Beard remembers Death to the False Emperor against Necrons.
Exactly. Non-Imperium.
So yeah, I'll take that, and then he'll have the Puretide engram chip as well. So the list only has 10 CP. Tower a very CP hungry army. However, this list is designed not to be that. This list is all about attrition, outlasting your opponent, and just wearing them down. This list is designed to win turn 4, turn 5, maybe even turn 6. If you get a strong lead with this list, I'd be surprised. It's a very different way of playing Tau, in my opinion, but it is something that I was already starting to play around with when people like Richard started doing really well with lists like this. I've taken a similar one for a spin at 1750 over on demand. That was Beard's practice one. Granted, that wasn't an ITC mission, but the principles are the same. I've actually not used this list in ITC before, so we'll see how it goes. But the idea is you want to have as many small units of drones as you can, but you also want as many as you can, which will mean there are a couple of bigger blobs in here too. It's why the ethereal is very important, so you can make them leadership 9, which will make a huge difference when you start losing them, because otherwise they're only leadership 6.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And if you've got a couple of big blobs in there, it becomes a problem. So those are the 2 Fireblades in there. Then we've also got an Enforcer Commander in there, again, with 2 shield drones. Now, I guess I should explain the idea behind the smaller units of shield drones. Yes, in ITC, you're probably going to give away kill more. Yeah. It's just going to happen, but because you want to protect your Riptides at all costs, and anyone who knows how to play Tau or against them, you kill the Markerlights and you kill all the shield drones. Those are your first 2 targets. Potentially also Fire Warriors if you've got a few in there, but if you can remove them, Tau begin to really struggle. The innate ballistic skill of 4+ is difficult without Markerlights, and Riptides are survivable, but they're not that survivable without the drones. So what does this mean? Well, if you've got to start picking to shoot at units of 2, you've got to, and you have to deal with them, so you've got to pick away at multiple targets at all times, and it can become very difficult just to chew through all of that with all of the guns. It's like I've been playing this and someone's going, okay, well, I'm going to have to fire a heavy onslaught Gatling cannon at that unit of 2 drones because they have to be removed. And if that's not being shot at my drones, you can, if that's not being shot at my Riptide, then that's a good thing. So not only can they absorb wounds, but they also act as a distraction because they have to be removed. So your
they
Riptide,
force overkill, don't they?
So what happens
that rate
is
of fire against just a small little
unit. So what happens is your Riptide's like, it's almost like they have a double shield in a way. So if you want to shoot at my Riptide, great, go for it. I'll just pass it off onto my drones. So that's where the list kind of comes into its own. But yes, anyway, I'm only on to my HQs. So my Enforcer, he has 2 shield drones as well, and he's got 3 Cyclic Iron Blasters with ATS. I think with ATS, Cyclic Iron Blasters are amazing. I think they're really, really good. We've seen what they can do time and time again. We then come to the troops. I have 3 units of 7 Fire Warriors, which is pretty cool. Again, each unit has 2 shield drones attached to them. They'll be benefiting from the Fireblades in there as well. Just a point with the Fireblades, some people ask why I take 2. Markerlight's really good, and I generally do 1 Fire Warriors. I still think they're really good for their points and how you can buff them. They're actually really good. But if you're not running lots of Fire Warriors, it really is just for the more accurate Markerlights. There are other options you can take in, but again, you want to be running Fire Warriors with them. So Dark Strider for Tau is really good because I can't remember the name, I think it's like Structural Analysis or something like that. So if you're playing Knights and stuff, that becomes really clutch because as soon as you can, because it gives you a unit of Fire Warriors +1 to wound, so you can take that wound off that Knight a bit easier, and then you focus fire, and then your Riptides do the rest of the business. So that is another option that you could look in, and it would fit quite nicely. It's pretty much the same points. I should mention that one of my units of Fire Warriors, one of them has a pistol, and that's so I could get 2,000 on the nose. Power! So that's very cool. So we've done that. What else do we have? So that would be the battalion. We then go on to the Vanguard. I've got another Enforcer Commander in there. He has 3 Cyclic Iron Blasters. I gave him Drone Controller because I do have a few marker drones mixed into this list as well, which is actually nice because you never seem to have enough. Yeah, Markerlights. So it's quite nice that I've kind of come full circle from when I started playing this. I used to have lots of marker drones, and then I got rid of them all, and now they've kind of come back. Would I prefer just to have, I think I've got 43 drones in total in this list. Would I prefer to have them all as shield drones? Maybe. Maybe.
Probably.
I just don't have 43 shield drones.
So many.
It's so many. So I just don't have them. But look, the duality of the Markerlights is actually really nice.
Yeah.
So for a change, I might be able to even light up 2 units instead of 1 with the full complement. And that's actually because sometimes you'll find with Tau, you roll really well one time, and then you go, okay, well I've got to shoot at this unit, which is, you know, you're hitting on 5s or 4s or whatever, and you don't quite have the firepower to pull it through. So yeah, it could work really nicely. We'll just have to see. So yeah, the 3 in the Vanguard I've got. That's where I think that's where the Ethereal is sitting. It'll be in the list, and then the Ethereal also has 2 shield drones as well. So as you can see, the theme is continuing. We then have the 3 Riptides. So I run them with heavy burst cannons and smart missiles. That's pretty standard. ATS also very standard. And then there's the age-old question: do you run velocity trackers or do you run target lock? So target lock allows you to move and shoot without penalty. Velocity trackers gives you a +1 to shoot against units with the fly keyword. I have come to believe that target lock is the best way.
And I think that's what Richard uses as well.
Do you know? I actually think he had velocity trackers.
No, I think he had target lock.
In the I was watching the stream.
I was
watching the stream. Unless the commentators said the wrong one. Oh, also, the guys who did the commentating on the stream, really well done. Damien is one of our guys who follows us.
Hi, Damien.
Hi, Damien.
Hello.
You guys nailed it. It looked really pro. It was really good. Well done. So yeah, but I regardless, you check. But regardless, I think target lock is the way. I mean, it was quite late, and I was watching, but also preparing for work. So yeah. With how this list is designed, funnily enough though, I'll have to adapt this strategy slightly playing your list, but target lock is really good in my opinion. We then go on to the Outrider. So in the Outrider I have a Fusion Cold Star, so I've given him 4 Fusion Blasters there. He's really good. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to spend a CP to give him Vector Thrusters. So
you were right.
I was right. There you go.
3 velocity trackers.
3 velocity trackers. I think that would be to combat things like, because I mean, in tournaments you've still got fly spam, either Elder or Iron Hands.
Iron Hands, yeah.
Iron Hands is fly spam is really good.
Yeah.
So good. It's so good. So yeah, again, it comes down to it. I'm sold on target lock now, and also because I have so many Markerlights in this list, I think I've got like 18. You know, that's going to be really handy, and you shoot them over on all those flyers anyway and get the +1 potentially. So yeah, the Fusion Commander, I will decide if I'm going to give him the Vector Thrusters. It just makes him even faster. He can shoot something and disappear behind a block. I'll check that. I'll decide that after we finish talking, but I think I probably will. And then I've got a unit of Pathfinders in there, just the 1. And then I've given them the Pulse Accelerator, and I've also given them the Grav Inhibitor. So that could be really important in this game in particular. Reason being, you've got a lot of people who are going to want to charge me, and so that will decrease the charge range by D3, which is nice for units that are within 12 of it. And the Pulse Accelerator gives my pulse weapons, so all of my fire warriors, an extra 3 inches. So 33-inch range, as long as the unit is within 3 of it. But a 33-inch range, which is awesome, but it's also your rapid fire at 18-inch range, and then you tie that in with the Fireblades. It's a really effective combo.
36-inch range.
30.
Gives you 6-inch to your pulse weapons.
Oh, is it 6? Is it?
Oh, 6.
Oh, that's
because
nice.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking of the half range.
I'm thinking of the half range.
Yeah, you
That's
get an
what
extra
I'm
3
thinking
inches
of,
to your half
36.
range.
Yeah,
because that's where you start really pumping out the
yeah.
Dacca.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's right. Because then you do it with Borkan, and then it's a 42-inch range. Firework.
Great.
21-inch range rapid fire.
Yeah,
yes.
that is quite tasty as well. Cool, thank you, chef. And And so I've then got 3 units of drones. So I've got 2 of 9. They have 5 shield drones in each and 4 marker drones. And then I've got 1 of 5 marker drones just separately in there. And that's the list. It is 2,000 points on the nose. I'm sure you guys can see how it functions. I'm interested to see how it plays, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you for the insight, Bone. I think one of the things which definitely helps a list like this is the guaranteed terrain in the ITC format with those L shapes in the middle, because if you're in a position to pretty much guaranteed to be able to hide your drones, especially your shield drones, in the majority of your games, obviously you can't hide from ignore line of sight weaponry, but if you're able to do that, it makes it very difficult for your opponent to ping them off. And then you've got lots of small little drone units as well, as you said, with the overkill. It becomes a really tough nut to crack for a lot of armies. And it is interesting that it is Tau that have emerged as being one of the armies at the moment, certainly in the ITC format anyway, that can actually crack the Marines.
Yeah, with a very specific build.
Yes.
A very specific build.
Yes. Because I would still say that Tau overall are nowhere near as good as Marines. What we have here is a very interesting anti-meta list in a very specific format where you've guaranteed got those bits of terrain as well.
I mean, I've been running this list forever. Essentially, I've played around with the broadsides and all that sort of stuff. Also the hazard suits, and I still think hazard suits are really good.
They are good.
But so it's nice that we've come back.
Full circle.
The rise of the toga. Yes.
Well, okay, look, very, very interesting. So for you tournament fans, hopefully you're looking forward to seeing what this list can do momentarily. But before we get into the game, let's now cover the Chaos lists. Definitely a bit of an army which has taken a hit in Chapter Approved, I think. But I'd still say it's very, very strong.
Yeah.
So let's cover that. That's coming up next. Right, folks, so let's cover the Chaos Soup list. Before we get into it though, quick shout outs, because one of the reasons we're able to field this list, because we were lacking Tzeentch Demon Princes for quite a long time. However, Vincenzo came to our rescue and he painted a Thousand Suns Prince for us in a very, very cool non-metallic metal.
I like that. I love non-metallic metal.
Yeah, he's really good at that. And he's actually got a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/miniaturesden. You can go check him out on Instagram as well, miniaturesden. And he actually does lots of streaming. He does streaming on how to do the non-metallic metal as well. So go check him out, give him a follow, give him a like. The tutorials on Twitch are really good. And he's done a fantastic job on our Thousand Suns Prince here. So thank you to Vincenzo from Miniatures Den. So now we have not one, but 2 Demon Princes of Tzeentch.
I was waiting.
Which will of course form a supreme command of Thousand Suns. But let's cover your list then, Chef.
Yes.
What have you got?
So it has taken a bit of a hit. This is a pretty classic list. I have myself played it before against it. I've never actually used it, so forgive me now. But this is similar to the Tau list in that it's pure attrition. You're not going for the killing blow turn 1. You're not hitting that alpha strike. You're just going, cool, I'm not gonna die. And you kind of just slowly whittle the points. You play it cagey, you play it defensive. You do have some output with your Demon Princes, your Smite spam with your Thousand Suns. That's where your damage comes from, but the vast majority of it just revolves around swamping the board, swamping objectives, blockading where your opponent can move, charging when you can. But really, if you don't make that charge until turn 3, turn 4, that's okay, because you're still probably going to have the stuff to get there. Yeah. Chapter Proof did bump up the points of the bulk of this list. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's basically I'm running what would have been a 1880 point list a couple of weeks ago, which is not an insignificant amount,
No, it's not.
especially when you consider that a lot of armies receive that as points drops, if not more. But I think it is reasonable because these were units that I think were perhaps not necessarily undercosted, just incredibly efficient for what they could do. So we will start with the Supreme Command Detachment. So in there we have Araman on disc. Weirdly, one of the things that didn't receive a points increase. I'm very surprised at that because I was fully expecting him to go up in points because he is super solid for what he does.
He is, but I'm glad he actually didn't, to be honest.
I'm okay with him not.
I get the princes going up.
I understand the princes going up. A lot of people didn't get that. My reasoning was you were casting another power.
Yeah.
For the demon princes elsewhere to go down, that's
A
where
bit of a blow.
That's where it's now a 30-point difference for essentially what amounts to casting an extra power. That to me is where the disparity does become a little bit much.
And a 4-up invulnerable as well.
Yeah, true, but a Demon Prince of Chaos that Tzeentch has a 4-up invuln, doesn't have the extra power, is 30 points less.
And also,
That's
you're
the
basically
thing.
getting the Tzeentch rule, and if you look at, the reason why you've got the 4-up invuln and everything, the way I look at it is, if you look at the Space Marines, they've got all of those rules in the supplements for free, so now the Prince is penalised for
He's still good.
He is still good. I think he could have actually just remained the same.
I think he would have been
be
fine
honest.
to remain the same, and then the other
Given
princes,
the new Marines,
given the new Marines and the fact that the Demon Princes themselves went down, I think 180 was still a pretty good spot for them.
Yeah.
But digress. One of them, so I'm running 2 of them. One of them will be my Warlord. We will use Vincenzo's one, I think. I think that is appropriate.
Huzzah!
He is going to be a High Magister, so that gives him a +1 to cast.
Cool.
So as much as I am a stickler for making special characters the Warlord, this is a Tactica.
Yeah.
My fluff bunny needs to leave.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You want those super
Get it
smites.
out of here.
I'm not allowed it.
I'm not allowed.
So it needs a super smite because then that gives you a demon prince with +1. It gives you Araman with a +1. I have another demon prince in there, so I've got plenty of reliable ways of casting powers, and I also have an exalted sorcerer on a disc in here. So I've given him the helm of the third eye as my free relic. So I've got a little bit of CP farming in here, and that's when you use a stratagem. I get to roll on a 5+. I get the command point back because there's quite a few stratagems that you want to use to fuel both the Thousand Suns. There's ways to get +2 to cast, ways to swap out powers, ways to cast additional powers, and also just re-rolling perils, because you probably will perils over the course of a game. So it's just nice to have the CP to fuel that. It'll also help the fact that I have 2 battalions. So, and these will also require quite a bit of CP to fuel some of the strategies involved. So in my first battalion, so these are both Nurgle Demon detachments. Now, a common thing that I have seen is that you don't run them as a Nurgle Demon detachment. Reason being is because the 6 to wound to do the extra damage is nice, but that's not what you want your Nurgles to be doing. You don't really care about the damage output. So what I've seen a lot of people do is actually, that's where you throw in your Demon Prince of Khorne with wings, with the axe, with the Skull Reaver, because now he can probably one-shot a knight.
Yeah, he did.
When he makes combat with something, he will probably delete it. Because that axe it's basically a bloodthirster axe. Like, there's no penalties to hit with it. I think if you roll a 6+ to wound, you're doing mortal wounds. You're re-rolling wounds against Titanic. So I mean, I wouldn't have been able to re-roll the wounds against the Riptide, for example, but one of those making it into a Riptide. I've cast Death Hex on it already. I've cleared the drones away with smites and whatnot. Or just you just force the saves.
No.
Yes.
They're still alive.
No, they're definitely not alive.
No.
Well, we can run that list.
We don't have a Demon
another
Prince
time.
with an axe yet that I'm allowed to use yet.
We do have a Demon Prince.
But I'm not allowed to use it, so... I've asked multiple times, can I run the Demon Prince, and I've been told no.
No.
There is a special plan in store for him. So I have in that battalion, I have the so they are all Nurgle, just because I've not mixed in any other demons. So we have 3 units of 28 Plague Bearers. So yes, they did receive a points upgrade, guys. I think 8 points for them is still very good. They're super tough. They can pump out the damage when you've got all your buffs going to them. They are slow, but not really, because you've got your characters and all your support to buff them, so you don't really, you're still going to be probably faster than, a Marine, which just baffles me. But, they're just generally very good. Yes, they're a melee unit, but they're super survivable, and in an objective-based game, that is really good. Yeah. So I've got 3 of them. They've got icons in there, and they've got the instruments in there, so they've got the extra charge, they've got the extra advance, and they've got the chance to bring models back. Supporting them is we have a Poxbringer. He is running Miasma of Pestilence, so we've got a buffing power in there, another smite if I'd rather just do a smite, as well as his +1 strength aura to just make them hit a little bit harder. That's not the key thing. It's also because he's one of the cheaper HQs, and Miasma is pretty good power. Yeah. We also have accompanying him a Sloppity Bilepiper. So this is the guy that allows you to roll the 2d6 for your morale and pick the lowest.
Yeah, you want that one.
You want that one. It's super good. He provides some buffs to Nurglings and Great Unclean Ones as well, which may or may not come up in this game, because in my 2nd battalion I do have 3 units of free Nurglings, so it's super cheap. It's just CP, but he's primarily there for the morale. He also does I think it's the opposite for morale within 7 inches of him. So it's you roll.
Yes, that's right.
He does something to the enemies.
Got a debuff, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is 2d6 and pick the highest, which could make a difference for your drones.
Yeah, could do.
Won't mean anything really for your fire warriors, because generally you just go, oh, cool, I'll roll a 6, I'll take that bonding knife, thank you very much. But for drones, that can make a bit of a difference, because it could be the difference between one running away, none running away, or the unit being removed, which is pretty cool. Yeah. We then have, so that's that 1st battalion. 2nd battalion, I've already said, there's 3 units of Nurglings in there. Nice, small units. They can infiltrate if they want to, in order to just not necessarily put pressure on, but you can use them to almost counter-deploy things like Invicta Warsaw, because you can't be within 9 inches of enemy models. So if you do have that first deployment, or that you're deploying first, you can put those out and just go,
thank you.
Stay in your deployment zone, please. Thank you very much. Vice versa, it allows you to potentially go for an objective early, especially for some of the ITC missions where you get bonus points for holding all of the objectives, or you just want to fan it out and screen out. And because they're swarms, because they're small, you can hide them quite easily.
The bane of my existence.
Yep. It's not nice stuff being hidden from line of sight, is it?
That's fine.
You got smart missiles.
I've got smart missiles.
The HQs for that, I have a Spoil Pox Scrivener. So this is the guy that he is the most expensive of the infantry-based HQs, but there's a reason for that. +1 to hit for your plague bearers is nice. Rolling that 7+, so essentially 6s, to make an extra attack is nice. +2 to your movement, that's why you're taking him, because that over the course of a game really adds up. Like I say, it makes Nurgle surprisingly fast, and it's one of the things that really frustrates me about them in a competitive sense, especially the first game that I played against them, because you sort of, they're plopped down and you go, oh, that's a lot of plague bearers to chew through, but it's okay, it's going to take them 2-3 turns to get to me. No, turn 1 charge. Oh, good.
Yeah, they're fast.
Why are you faster than like Eldar? Like, it's weird. Yeah. It's really weird to me. So he's really good. He's, I think, pointed appropriately in terms of his cost, because those buffs that he brings, he helps your plague bearers get up the board and control the board better. And when you are in combat, which you probably will be at some stage with your plague bearers, it does make them a little bit more killy, which is always nice. Finally, I have a Demon Prince of Nurgle in there with wings, 2 Malefic Talons. Solid choice with the points drop as well. He provides that reroll ones to hit for those Nurgle demons. He gives you some combat punch, and I've given him the Nurgle's Rot power, which is pretty cool. So it's essentially every unit, including friendly units, but not Nurgle. So I just need to remember that if I've got him near a sorcerer, for example. Everyone within 7 takes D3 mortal wounds with a 4+. So if he gets into your lines, he can just really start putting a hurt on all of those small units that you have. Well, he might. You say that, and yet, I've done the maths. You cannot kill a unit of Plague Bearers a turn.
We'll see.
That's very interesting. A big old call, isn't it, everyone?
You cannot kill one a turn, not with the minuses and the various reanimation. You can certainly put the dent in, and then probably some will run away if I don't roll that one. But by my maths, I do not believe you can kill 28 Plague Bearers with your list.
It's a shame you're not running 30.
Well, one, we don't have the models, would you believe?
I can guarantee you we do. There might be some on another shelf.
They're on smaller bases. That's why.
No, I guarantee you we have 90 on larger bases, guaranteed.
Well, I've spent
if you
a long time this morning.
If you,
I don't have
to
the
change,
points to do it.
Yeah, and if you don't have the points, that's fine. But if you want to change it, you can.
No, I don't have.
How many are they, sorry?
28.
28.
Yeah, so 3 units of 28.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's 28.
I would run 30.
No, I would run 30. But this is the difference,
But you've got these increased points. You have to shave it somewhere.
15 points there, 15 points there. He lost 25. Because I think they're one. Are they 155?
Well, that almost
now?
makes up for it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
it?
think they're 155. But because these units all went up by a point per model,
you can't really get around that.
You can't avoid it. But I mean, what it would have meant.
If you were just spitballing,
Yeah.
We won't change it now, guys.
No.
If you were, because he obviously didn't realise that we did have, and I promise you, we do have 3 units of 30.
I ran them as 28
So
because I needed
placed
to
them.
fit the second battalion in. That's why.
Right. Cool. So
I could have dropped him to another Poxbringer, but I wanted that bit more combat punch.
Yeah. Is that what would you have done then if you wanted to?
I would have had 2 Poxbringers.
You would have lost the whole prince.
I would have lost the prince.
6 Plague Bearers.
No, that's not worth it to me.
Okay.
That's not worth it to me. Now I spent a lot of time actually with this list because again with those points increases generally across the board, it does make it a lot more tricky to fit the models that you want in. I have no shooting. Literally I've got 2 bolt pistols. That's it. So I was really umming and ahhing about, maybe some Plague Burst Crawlers and a Chaos Lord, cheap Chaos Lord, Plague Burst Crawlers, and then you run them up. But you know what? I would have needed to have lost a 2nd battalion and a unit of Plague Bearers. Which is a huge amount.
only would have had 2 units.
I would have had 2 units of 30 and a unit of 3 Nurglings.
It's not enough.
I wouldn't have had the Prince.
It's not enough.
And I think
It's not that kind of a list, guys, to do the damage by range.
Plague Burst Crawlers are fine. They're fine.
Yeah.
But the time when they were great is when you were running 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a silly place.
It was a silly time. But that list made them good.
Yeah.
3 of them, I just don't think they're killy enough, actually.
Not on 4s, not with the innate -1s for moving. They're tough, sure. But generally the bulk of their damage comes from the Plague Spitters, which you need to get up there.
You've got to get up there, and they can be quite swingy, and you've got to take Arch Contaminator, which means you have to have someone following behind them.
Yep.
It's a huge point thing. No, not with this type of list.
No.
I think if you were going for a more, if you had more of a gun line in the back, and then you have the Vanguard moving forward with something like that, then I go, do you know what? Okay, cool, interesting. I quite like bloat drones, but we were looking at the points today, and actually it's like an extra.
Expensive.
But it's like an extra what? 2?
It's an extra 2 points to make your bloat drone a Plague Burst Crawler. So yes, you don't have the melee, you don't have the fly, but you have an extra point of toughness, an extra 2 wounds.
Yeah.
And
you do have the mortar, which can do some work.
Yeah. It's. Was it worth it for 2 points? Probably, but is it worth running 3 Plague Bursts? Probably not. Now, if say those drones were 100 points, that could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Them with a Demon Prince, that's actually a huge threat for not a massive part of your army.
Yeah.
So that would have to be dealt with. With this, the threats are basically the Sorcerers and the Demon Princes, but to get to them, you have to chew through those Plague Bearers. So I just wanted to go absolutely, ham on them, get as many of them in as possible. I wanted the extra battalion to fuel the CP for that, because you've got things like Warp Surge for making one of them have a 4-up. You've got things like Locus of Fecundity to give you the reroll 1 aura of your Disgustingly Resilient to make them even more survivable.
So you did feel that that's the additional battalion was quite important.
Potential. I mean, yeah. I mean, really.
It's interesting because
the thing is, like, the difference would have been not having the Nurglings. Okay, that's fine. You can kind of live with or without them. They have their use, and they're not that expensive. But because they're not that expensive, you're not getting a lot for replacing them. Yeah. They're only 54 points for a unit of 3, so that's what 162 points.
They're also remarkably resilient for what they are.
Yeah, I mean, they don't get
very irritating to kill.
Yeah, they don't get the resilience against damage 2 and above.
No,
but it just means that you just go. Normally, you would look at them and go, right, well, I'll just fill them full of damage 1 weapons, but they can disgustingly resilient that. They've got the 5-up, they've got 4 wounds, they're only toughness 2. But because they're small and they're swarms, you can hide them. That's where the defense comes from. And they're troops, so they get objective secured, which is just weird. You know, I would have then had to have lost one of the support characters. So I probably would have lost the Poxbringer. Keep the Demon Prince, just give him miasma instead. That's not a huge loss. But that's still only 200 and something points. There would be 230-ish points. What am I get? I'll get another Demon Prince of Tzeentch, which we don't have. Oh no, wait, I can't because I've already got my Demon Princes, so I could throw in another Exalted Sorcerer on disc. Sure.
Or you could look at mixing in that Khorne Demon Prince.
Yeah, I could. Well, I can't. I would then drop the Nurgle Demon Prince, take the Khorne Demon Prince. So that's a wash. But now I don't have miasma for a unit. So it is a tricky one.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I think those points increases. They've hurt this list.
They have hurt this list a lot. I still
because it was on a knife edge, really. Anyway, I think with the new meta, you know,
I still think it can do the work.
Yes.
But this will be an interesting experiment for sure, especially for someone like me who's never used it but has come up against it. So I am aware of how it works. Cool. I just need to get into the mindset of how it works and not just go, it's an 11-inch charge. We'll do that. No, just don't. Don't take the 5-up Overwatch and give Bone a free turn of sheet. Just don't do it. Chef.
Do it!
No.
Yes!
Okay, well, thank you very much, Chef. Very interesting discussion there. I'm curious to see how this list holds up. I do think the Tau have a little bit of an advantage, mainly because of the points. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Mainly because of the points increases in general for the Chaos here, and also he still is rocking. You know, it's a big rate of fire, even though a lot of his army is invested in, you know, defensive portions for the drones. Those Riptides still kick out a lot. The Fire Warriors are still adding to that. However,
when you get closer to Cyclic Iron Blasters as well.
Yeah, true. But
I'm not worried about
the negatives to hits and the way that these units can be buffed could throw a spanner in the works. Plus, you do have a lot more objectives secured than he does. So, look, let's see how it pans out. Let's go over the mission. That's coming up next. ITC Scenario 6. Welcome to the battlefield. Here we are, ITC Scenario 6. This is the Crucible of Champions.
Why are we here then?
The forces of chaos are here despite Chef's sardonic tones. And over here we have the forces of the Tau for the greater good. Yeah. The wearing of high yield burst cannons and missiles across the entire army can be heard.
Especially this chunky boy.
But can it be heard over the buzzing of flies that accompany the forces of Nurgle? Even Grotty and Chef's personal avatar is there next to him watching.
It's me! It's me, everyone!
So we have in this scenario Crucible of Champions.
We've got more Grotlings.
Yes, we do have more Grotlings.
No, I'm getting me.
Oh, you're getting.
Oh, you're getting the cherub.
He's getting the cherub. Fantastic.
No. Me.
Oh, it's literally. And there we have it.
I see.
B-Bone hanging with Grotty and Chef the Nurgling. Perfect. So now in this very serious competitive
now that we've got that out of the way.
Now we have Crucible of Champions. I'll quickly outlay what this is. If you guys aren't familiar, perhaps you're new to ITC or interested in it, these missions can be downloaded from the frontlinegaming.net website, or in fact it's .org, sorry. And pretty much a lot of the tournaments around the world are using these missions. There are 6 missions. This is mission 6. There are 5 predetermined objectives deployed on the battlefields. The way that ITC works in a nutshell is if you hold an objective at the end of the turn, in your turn, you get a point. If you kill a unit, you get a point. If you hold more than your opponent did at the end of the battle round, you get another point. If you killed more than them, you get another point. There are then a variety of secondaries, similar to Maelstrom, except you're picking them. Let's just go over what the players have taken. So, Mr. Bone, you've taken what secondaries today?
I've taken the Reaper.
Reaper, so 20 plus models killed.
Yep, I get a point. I've taken Headhunter.
Yep, so kill a character, and that's another point.
So that'll be a bit of a slow burn, but again, that'll come in towards the end of the game.
Yep.
And then I've also taken Engineers. So my Engineers are this unit of Markerlight drones here, and this unit of Fire Warriors.
Cool, and for those of you that don't know, from Battle Round 2, if one or more of those Engineer units are holding an objective, and assuming that they did not fire upon the enemy or fight in combat or do any other action, although they can move, I believe, they will score a point for Engineers. Now, all 3 of the secondaries can only score you a maximum of 4 points each. So 4, 8, 12 points total for secondaries. Mr. Chef, what secondaries did you pick?
So I have also chosen Engineers. Yep. So that would be on this unit of Plague Bearers that are running along the back here.
Okay.
And also on this blob of 28, which are running along to here.
Okay.
So those are my 2 Engineers.
Yep.
I have taken Recon.
Okay.
So a unit in every table quarter,
yep.
at least partially.
Yep.
And I've also taken the Butcher's Bill. So this was a bit of a tricky one for me to decide my final one, because none of them really kind of work with this list. For those that are more experienced with ITC, let me know what you would have chosen. But given that there are a large number of very small units, once I do start getting smites in range and start hitting combat, it should be doable. But again, it might not happen until sort of turn 3 onwards.
Yes, you close.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so we know what the secondaries are. Now, in this particular scenario, just to add a little extra spice and confusion, ITC has alternating deployment, and also I deploy first, go first. And it switches up depending on the mission you're playing. Now, in this instance, this is a I deploy first, I go first scenario. And Chef, I believe you have deployed first and therefore chosen to go first.
You don't choose in this one. So
you
this
have
one,
to go first?
Yeah, the player that deployed first goes first, unless the player that deployed second seizes the initiative. So this is one of those ones that you don't get a choice. You have to go first.
Well, there you go. How crazy is that? Looks like we might be preparing a bit of a seize the initiative. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Shazzo Bone.
Let's hear it.
Are
we ready?
Am I right?
Not wrong!
Here we go.
Not wrong!
Not wrong.
Right, here it is.
Chef's wrong.
I just am wrong, literally.
Would you like to seize the initiative, please?
Yes, I would. Here we go.
Mr. Bone.
For the
One
greater
to the six,
good.
for the greater good. Oh, that's a 3. That is not a seize, it's half a seize, which means nothing. We go into Chaos turn 1. That's coming up next. The forces of chaos are on the move, moving through the mists of this bombed-out city. Perhaps it is psychic barrage upon psychic barrage that has obliterated this imperial city. But regardless of the circumstances, the Tau stand ready to lay down withering fire. Now, this will be actually a pretty quick turn, because there isn't much firepower for the Thousand Suns here, and of course the Demons of Nurgle. So we can see that Chef has advanced with the majority of his force. Quite literally, in the case of the forwards, Plague Marines here, Plague Bearers even, the rear Plague Bearer unit has spread out, and we can see that Chef is pushing himself across the table, across the width of this table here, for that all-important board control. We can also see that if you look at the objectives, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which he's got Nurglings on over here as well. In ITC, you measure to the edge of the objective rather than to the center of it. You have a situation here where Chef is holding 4 objectives. So he will certainly be scoring a point for holding an objective this turn, and he is very, very likely to be holding more objectives, although we never, ever ever assume anything.
No.
Now, Mr. Chef will have a brief psychic phase. The majority of the psychic powers are out of range, and I do know that he wants to employ a stratagem in the shooting phase also. So let's come back to you in the psychic phase. That's coming up in just a second. The Demon Prince here of the Thousand Suns, casting Gaze of Fate. Effectively a free reroll, folks.
On a 6, yes he is.
He does, okay,
have a free
fantastic.
reroll.
So he's got a free reroll. Do you know what you're casting next, Chef?
Yep, the Poxbringer is casting Miasma of Pestilence on this blob here.
Okay, and that's this little character down here, okay.
So I'm going to use my free reroll on
Yes, fair enough. Hence why you open with
Goes
that.
off.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Do we know what we're casting next, sir?
That's it. Everything else is out of range.
Okay, so 2 powers cast. We may as well just summarise the shooting phase here because you're only doing the one thing in it, which is launching a stratagem, specifically a coruscating beam. Mr. Chef, for the viewers at home, what does this do?
So, use the stratagem in the shooting phase if you have a Thousand Suns Warlord that did not move. He did not move. He did not move.
He did not move.
Instead of shooting with your Warlord's weapons, pick 2 points on the battlefield that are 9 inches apart and visible to him. I forgot about that bit.
And visible to him. Uh-oh. That means that there is nothing visible to him. Because in ITC, because I don't think I mentioned it.
Well, if he moves, he can't do it.
But you can't do it anyway because you can't see it.
Correct.
So do you want to move him?
Well, I made a mistake. I didn't read it properly, so tough.
Okay, that's how you want to play it. So
That's how I always play it.
Currently, this is what you have. Cargo containers, the building here, and this is ground floor. It blocks line of sight completely in ITC. So he literally cannot see through this terrain here. So therefore, it is not done. That means that we will conclude the turn, I guess.
Yeah.
So we will come to Tau. Turn 1 coming up next. At the end of the turn, Chef did not kill a unit, but he did, of course, hold an objective, so he's on 1 point so far. Right, Tau, movement phase, turn 1 is complete. Some shuffles have indeed happened, but for the most part, they have remained where they are. Sense of Stone has been activated by the Ethereal, Purple Toga time. So that's giving the 6-up shrugs. Where? I can't find your Ethereal Bone.
Yeah.
Ah, hidden behind the Riptides.
Yes.
Giving the 6-up shrugs to the Riptides and the assorted drones around them.
Yes. So let's see. So do I ignore?
Alright, overcharging with his guns here, folks.
I do.
Does
up
ignore
here.
in the middle Riptides, and no.
Well, I like these rolls.
They're
though.
good rolls, yeah.
They're liking the rolls there.
So
Liking the rolls.
He's liking the rolls there. Now, not really too much else to report in the movement phase. He's obviously clearly not keen on pushing towards the enemy, which is understandable. I did forget to mention that at the end of last turn as well, that Chef did score Recon as a secondary because he has units in every corner of the board, or quarter of the board rather. So he's actually on 2 points currently. Let's see now if B-Bone can turn the Riptide on and kill some of these Plague Bearers. It's coming up next. Right, folks, here we go. We are opening up with a Markerlight from whom?
This Fireblade.
Fireblade. He's opening up against the forward Plague Bearer unit, which incidentally has the Miasma of Pestilence. And Chef has just declared off camera that Warp Surge is going onto this unit. That gives them effectively a 4+ invulnerable save, and they are effectively -2 to hit, stacking with the Cloud of Flies because they're over 20 models.
Yes.
So here we go.
So needing a 4. Very good.
Shoots, he scores.
Okay.
1 Markerlight on the Plague Bearers. Okay.
So we'll then come over to this unit of Pathfinders here.
Sure.
They're going to fire at them. Now it's -2, so it will be 6s, but it is 6s.
Rerolling 1s, yeah, because of the Markerlights.
Oh, hang on a moment.
He's thinking.
Actually, I'm going to spend the CP now for
Okay.
the uplink.
Yep.
So I get D3 Markerlights on there as well.
Right.
So just
Just
the
the
one.
one.
So I've got 2 on there.
So-
Do I get that CP back? I do not. You just spent a stratagem as well.
Is it per stratagem or per command point that I spend?
Stratagem.
Okay, so yeah, just the one
So you
stratagem.
must roll for this as Puretide
Nope.
engram
Okay. So
neurochip.
I've lost
Okay.
the CP. I did end up putting the vector thrusters on him as well.
Got it.
But you've
Okay.
probably seen that in the list anyway.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so we'll come over to these guys here.
Sure thing.
So 6s rerolling 1s. So I've got 1 on there, so it's 3.
Oh!
Very nice.
Very Nice.
4 already. Not a bad start here for the Tau.
So then we will come to this unit of marker drones at the rear here. So that going goes all the way around here. Actually, no, forgive me. This one goes in through there, and then this one goes all the way around there. I'm protecting it everywhere. Right. So this unit then will fire. So there's 4 in there.
Sure.
So looking for a 6. Can we roll that one?
Roll that one.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, very nice.
Full compliments.
That's fine.
Ouch. Right, we've got the drones over here now. 2 of these marker drones can spy those nurglings over here, so they're opening up there.
Yeah, and I think the other 3 will fire at them.
At this unit of nurglings here. So
Yes.
going for some nurglings.
So I should do these one at a time.
Yeah.
So on the...
So I've got
It's
one
got
over
hits.
there, 2
Two
on
over there.
Okay.
there,
So it's 2 on this nurgling unit.
and
3
then
over here
3
to
over
fire.
here. No,
Misses.
off the board.
Does get a
Get the
hit.
reroll 1.
And
two
there we
on
go. Gets 2. 2 and 2. Markerlight's proved pretty accurate so far.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
And now for some proper firepower. Cyclic ion blasters from the Tau Commander into this nurgling unit here. Of course, you can see this one at the end. So here we go.
Okay, just 3 hits so far.
Yes, indeed.
Reroll that 1. 6. Okay, full house.
Okay, full house set. Very nice.
I think it's 2s to win.
It will be juiced to win. On top is 2.
Nice. Cool, so that is 8 wounds at -2.
So just 5 up in ones.
Invulnerable saves.
Okay,
Does
I
make
see
3.
3 of them. So they are 4 wounds a pop. Because it's damage D3 because you've overcharged, I do not get disgustingly resilient against this.
Sure, so
6.
6 have gone through. First one does
5. 6,
3.
5, I don't know.
So then that's
Whatever I
just one
rolled.
killed.
One is dead.
Next one. Okay, another one killed.
Last
Last
one.
one is dead.
Okay.
Cool, very good.
Nice. Okay, nurglings obliterated by the Cyclic ion blasters. Here we go. Riptide number 1, putting the heavy burst cannon all the way over here into these nurglings, and the smart missiles will be going into the plague bearers, which are warp surged.
So
Okay.
I want to kind of get rid of these sorts of units because it will make Chef need to work a bit harder to get things like recon and stuff like that, or leave characters and stuff like that behind while the blob is coming forward.
Trying to suppress his secondary scoring ability.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it seems like a bit of overkill, but I find if you do this, it seems to work.
Pays dividends in the future.
We'll see!
Okay.
Okay, so it will be 4s rerolling 1s.
Fair spread.
Roll that 1. Okay.
There's 1 3 in there, buddy.
Oh, thank
Yep,
you.
okay.
Okay, 2s now.
2s.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 nurglings.
5 up in buns. Oh dear. Okay, that's
We've made
not
3.
so bad.
Made
So
3.
1 is dead and 2 is dead because they're flat 2. No discussing resilient.
Okay, so 2 nurglings killed there. Fair. Then we have the smart missile system.
Yes, so these will be 4s rerolling 1s as well, because they are a -2 at the moment.
Yes.
Okay.
You've got the +1 to hit on that plague bearer unit. So be taking that into account, though?
Still 5s to hit
Still 5s to hit.
because I'm -2.
Yes.
And he's
So
+1.
it's still 5.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So 3 hits.
And re-rolling the 1s.
I've already done that.
Done that.
2 wounds.
Okay,
2
2
wounds.
Now 4+ invulnerable save warp surge.
Save
Made 1, and he does get disgustingly
What
resilient
resilient?
here.
Save
And he makes that. There's the plague bearers doing what they do. Okay. Right, the Riptide's here on the left flank now. Smart missiles will go all the way over through to the Nurgling base over here because they do not require line of sight, so no issue there. And then heavy burst cannon again into the warp surged plague bearers.
Yes.
Are we opening with heavy burst first, sir?
No, let's do the
Smart missiles. Okay.
Okay, rerolling those 1s. Not bad. Okay, that is 6 wounds at
Full
-1.
house.
6. So 6 of 5 and then 5s because they're damage. Okay.
Got 1.
No, only the
Okay.
1. Resilient saves. Okay,
No.
he is dead.
Okay.
Only just.
Nurgling base destroyed. Do we then have the heavy burst cannon coming up?
Yep, so 5s. Roll those ones. Okay. 5 hits. Oof. 2 wounds.
Okay, 2 wounds.
So 5s. 4s even. Both
Fours,
safe
of
because
course,
of
warp
warp
surge. Fantastic. Okay. Right, more Markerlights now from these drones just down here. They're opening up against this Plague Bearer blob in the rear.
Yes.
So he's looking to get some extra buffs.
So, one at a time. Okay.
So 3.
Ooh,
Okay,
3
not
mana.
bad.
Cover, I guess.
So no cover, but that's
Yep.
fine. So I'm now going to fire the Riptide into them. So smart missiles are just out, so they'll go into them. So it will still be 5s re-rolling 1s, but they won't have a 4 up invulnerable.
You got it. Okay, that's from this middle Riptide here, folks. Okay.
So let's start with the heavy burst. Okay, we roll those ones.
Some Markerlight.
Okay, thank you. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Dunk.
There's a 1 in there
Yeah.
which you haven't re-rolled. Yep. Okay.
Ah, very nice. 3s. Okay, so that is 3 wounds.
3 wounds.
5 ups.
Oh wow! Okay.
Okay, I guess.
And in the smart missile systems, let's come around here, a little easier to see.
Yep. Okay. Cool, 3 hits. 3 wounds. Okay, and then resilient. You kill 2.
He does kill 2. Fair enough. That is all 3 Riptides done for the moment. I'm sure there'll be some other light firepower. Let's see what he does next. Suspected some fire warriors. They have an 18-inch rapid fire range bonus save because of the accelerator drone, and they'll be rapid firing into this plague.
No, I took out the wrong casualty.
Unit.
Yeah, I should have removed that first one. Didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got 6 in rapid fire, 1 in not.
Okay.
So, oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, add 1 more. Cool. So, 5s rolling 1.
Yep.
No ones
No
to
ones,
reroll.
okay.
Interesting.
Okay, but still a decent amount of hits there. Okay, so that is 5 wounds.
5 wounds.
Okay, I see
Mix
2 of
2.
them. Resilient.
Resilience
I save
makes
another one, so
another.
2.
So
Okay.
2 more.
So now I will learn from my mistake and remove the one that's closer to your firing line.
Fair enough. And with that, the guns die down, and it is time to enter the morale phase for the forces of Nurgle.
Yes, I am in Biopiper range.
Sure.
So I don't fail, but I don't get to bring them back.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Rolling 2 there because of the dial piper, as Chef said. Right. That marks the end of the turn, and in fact does mark the end of the battle rounds. Rapid fire there. Now at the end of the turn, Bone does of course score a point for holding an objective. Bing. He does score a point for killing a unit, which of course were the 2 Nurglings here. As a result, he did in fact kill more than Chef as well, but he did not hold more than Chef.
No.
So Bone does get a bonus point at the end of the battle round for killing more, but Chef gets the bonus point for holding more. Now, secondary wise, what did you achieve here, Bone?
Nothing.
Nothing yet.
I'm halfway towards my first Reaper point.
Yep, that's right, and engineers will start kicking in from turn 2, and Headhunter, well, we shall see. Fair enough. So let's now have our end of battle round chat with the players. We always start with the player that went first. In this case, it will be Chef, so that's coming right up. Mr. Chef,
Yes.
hello.
Hi.
What is happening in your tactical mind today, sir?
It is essentially that moment of headbutting a desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge error on my part there, guys, with the coruscating beam.
Completely forgot you needed line of sight.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like when you've got something like that doesn't end up coming up all that often.
Yes.
You kind of forget about like the little nuances, like things like that, and especially with something like ITC where you do have that line of sight blocking. We're so used to using just normal line of sight.
Yes.
So really what I should have done deployment wise was have my warlord here
Yes.
so that he would have line here.
Yes.
Because really, so I deployed first. So would the bone have not deployed here? No, because he would need line of sight.
Exactly.
So
he
then,
also needs that fire
exactly.
corridor.
So that would have opened up the ability to do it, and that could have helped to get the kill on the turn 1, get some points for Butcher's Bill potentially. It is only D3 mortal wounds, but I could have done it in such a way as to either severely dampen
9-inch across so many potential 2 drone units.
You've got a bunch of 2 drone units, you've got Fire Warriors, you've got Pathfinder. I would have gone for the Markerlights.
Of course.
What I would have done, because they've got no save against the Feeling of Pain. So I mean, really, I mean, I know obviously he's moved, but from like from an interest point of view, I could have gone here. That would have gotten that 2-man unit, that 2-man unit, this Grav and Accelerator unit, the Pathfinders, this unit here, that unit there. I would have been rolling for 5 or 6 units,
which is pretty significant.
And even if I didn't kill any, it would have been killing Markerlights. It would have been removing drones. So yeah, huge error on my part there. But I've kind of got to wear it because, you know, if you don't make the mistakes, you can't learn from them, in my opinion. So I've always tried to do it like that. In terms of the actual turn itself, it went as well as expected. There's nothing I could have done with this deployment turn 1. All of my extra smite range and power range is completely neutered by long ways deployment. Nothing I could do there. So it's just about getting into position to start swamping the board. I do have the advantage of first turn in order to dominate to make my board presence known. But conversely, Bone has the advantage of going second, which means he can counter a lot of the stuff that I do. Which
is strong in ITC.
So it is strong in ITC for sure. So it is swings and roundabouts, but going second, he could have just mocked. This is, if I was using this list as a Tau player, I would have Monk card, turn 1, flooded the board with drones, and I would have spent all turn chewing through drones.
Is that what you would have done?
That's what I would have done.
Interesting.
I would have flooded the board in the middle with drones, Riptides, and just go, cool. Charging me is going to be a waste of time because it's just going to be overwatching. I can fall back and shoot anyway, so it's moot. And with the Monk, I'd be definitely in range with no penalties for doing so. And then I actually would have been on the back foot there. Yes, I would have had all my Psychic powers in range and things like that, but... so going first does help this army because it means I can get the board control. Turn 2 is basically going to be about, again, playing that slow game. Knowing my error with the coruscating beam now,
you can move him into position.
I will be able to move him into position.
Try and set him up for a future turn.
Set him up for turn 3, as well as getting him in range of powers now. Thanks to the extra range of the Thousand Suns, like I will be in range with his move and advance, and he'll also be safer. I could have moved him here. There's a Cold Star there, guys. He would have just gone right up and popped him. Yes, I've got the 4 up and things like that, but quite frankly, it would have been too much of a risk because he can throw that unit away, whereas that would be a headhunter point for him, as well as quite a powerful unit.
It's an alpha. It's an asset. You don't want to throw the asset away.
Never throw your assets away. Playing it slow, just dealing with the points. I'm gonna be dominating the center of the board regardless. So holding more is almost a certainty, and I can start getting the characters into position to start getting those bonus points as well, potentially. So play it by the points. It's 3 apiece at the moment. If I can start edging out at the end of this turn or turn 3, then we'll be in a good spot.
Okay, very, very interesting. Also very interesting to hear your thoughts on how you would have played the Tau. Look, we'll check in with Bone now. Obviously, I will not share any of this information with your opponents, but we'll see what his thoughts are. So that's coming up next. Mr. Bone, we return to the battlefield. What are your tactical thoughts, sir?
It's interesting. So I'm kind of being forced to play Tau old school, which is castle up and shoot. And this list is kind of not designed to do that. However, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing this is happening either. I've still got another turn before I get charged. So I will be able to maneuver my drones and stuff to actually get them in the way. So they'll have to be the ones that are charged. Ones that don't live will be able to fly away. So I'll be able to, and then I should get another 2 turns of shooting. It'll be interesting to see how Chef moves now as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Well, because he's kind of got this one at the back, which he needed to do. And then he's got this one here and this one here. If I need to, because these are all worth points to me.
Yes.
Like I can kind of shift these guys a bit, and it might be that these guys will actually not be protected for too much longer. Then I'll be able to start getting points for Headhunter and stuff like that as well. So at this stage, I've just got to do a bit of the patient hunter and just see what happens in the next couple of turns. But yeah, I think it's fine. Like next turn, I will get Kill More again, or I should do, and then I'll also Probably get Reaper as well next turn, just based on that. So I should be slightly edging him on points. I'll definitely get Engineers as well, which is good.
Yeah.
So I should get a couple of secondaries. I should get like 4 points next turn, all being well. And that's, for this kind of slow burn of a game, is solid.
Solid,
so
right?
I'll take that. I've just got to wait. But again, it'll be interesting to see how Chef moves this turn, because if he doesn't protect these characters, that's when I can go, great, bam, straight in there and actually just start doing some real hurt.
Right.
Because that's what. Well, that's the plan. We'll have
the
to
plan.
see. We'll have to see.
Okay, very interesting. All right, so we've heard from both the players. We'll now go into battle round 2. Back to the chef. Let's see what he does. Will he move how Bone suspects? And or will he leave some of these characters vulnerable? We shall see. It's coming up next. And here we are, turn 2 for the forces of Chaos. Nurglings swarming over this objective yet again. Meanwhile, the Plague Bearers are starting to dominate the entire centre of the battlefield, while still keeping a line back to their base objective here in the rear. Araman has moved forward, hiding in the corner of this ruin here with the Demon Prince, the Warlords, just in front of him. To the fore is the Nurgle Demon Prince and an Exalted Sorcerer on disc. And then back here on the left flank is, of course, the other Thousand Sons Prince with the Plague Bearer characters, the Scrivener, Slopty Vile, Piper, and Poxbringer over there in the centre of the battlefield. So Chef yet again is set to hold 4 objectives at the end of his turn, of course. Let's see if he'll be able to retain them, of course, when the Tau fire back. But before then, we will have a psychic phase, and it looks like we'll have a lot more in range this time. So let's come back to you in just a second. We are opening with the Nurgle Demon Prince, casting Smite, the nearest unit visible. These shield drones here in the 2 units of 2. Okay, so
how are they split?
Yes.
Dudunk, dudunk.
Okay, so just to make sure we're doing this correctly, it will have to be on that one because they are slightly closer.
You got it. Okay.
Smite. It is a smite.
That is a success. It's D3 mortal wounds.
That's got.
Sure.
It is 3 mortal.
3 mortal wounds, sir.
Okay, so ignoring 5s. Bosh.
2 6s and a 5. That's the opening
This
goal.
is how it is it?
Gaze of Fate is coming up next from this Demon Prince. Who is this on, Chef?
So this is the reroll power.
Of course, yes.
Not like that, it's not.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
He will then cast a smite.
Smite.
Should be in range with the extra of the 24. Yes, he will be.
Yes,
can he see that drone there, I wonder?
With the cargo containers, I would suspect not, but worth a check.
He cannot. So
cannot?
yeah, again, it will be on that,
That same unit.
2.
Okay.
That's
Well,
a
that's
super
a
smite.
super smite. Clearly angered by the
Yep.
failing of the other prince.
It's only 2 though.
Is the 2 mortal wounds, 1 for each of them?
Tishra.
Mr. Bone, does fail both of those this time. So the 2 drones are destroyed. That is 1 unit killed. Next up, it's Smite from the Thousand Sons Warlords.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so
Is
it goes
a
off.
success.
It's just the D3.
Okay,
It is 1 mortal wound.
the 1. Is that on the Fire Warriors? Chef?
This will be on these guys because
It's
they
on
are
the
the
joint. They're
closest visible.
equidistant, yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay, Tishra. No.
No, okay. So
Let's
one of
kill.
those drones is destroyed there. Do we know what we're casting next by any chance?
Not yet.
Okay, we'll come back. Poxbringer now casts Miasma of Pestilence on the forward unit of Plague Bearers. Fine.
No, so I'm going to command point reroll that.
Command points.
It does go off on a 6.
Does go off on a
Do I
6.
steal it? I do,
He
thank
does.
you.
Gets
welcome.
a command point. Fair enough. Bolt of Change from the Thousand Sons Prince coming up next. Onto the Pathfinders just tucked in here.
Yes.
Doesn't need to be the closest. Can pick. That's a
With
success,
his plus
I believe.
1,
Yeah.
it is cast on his warp charge 9.
Yeah, it's a hefty
but,
power, that
that's
one.
why you give it to someone who has a plus 1.
Yes.
It's D3 mortal wounds.
2. Okay, 2 Pathfinders slain. Very nice. Do we know what we're doing next, Chef?
Not yet.
Okay. The Exalted Sorcerer just in front of this Nurgle Prince now is casting Infernal Gaze on those Pathfinders.
Yes. Yes, he is.
He definitely is, yeah.
So for every 4+, it's a mortal wound. Only the one.
Another. Okay,
One
so
more is
unit
killed.
reduced to 2 models there.
And then he's going to go straight onto a smite.
Okay, smite, which the nearest is that
It
shield
will
drone.
be
I'm
that shield
assuming.
drone.
Okay. That goes off, sir. That's D3 mortal wounds on that shield drone. It is just the one. He could shrug it. Mr. Bone rolls a
does,
6. He's done it. Okay. Araman now in the rear of this ruin will be casting Smite. He's equidistant to the shield drone and the fire warriors, so he's choosing the fire warriors.
Yes, yes he is. That will be a super smite.
Yes,
His
it's
+1.
a +1. Okay, D6 mortals. Here we go.
Oh,
It's just the one. It's a tricky one. That
Every time.
so swingy. Next up, he will cast his Inches Firestorm on the single drone.
Or will I? Let me just think about that.
Okay.
24. No, I'm just out of range of the fire warriors. Yes, I will.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes, I will.
Yes, he will.
So I need 9 dice. I have
Looking for
7.
6s.
Thank you very much. There you go. 1 mortal wound.
It's one.
And it's on the shield drone.
It's on the shield drone.
He does not shrug it, so he does destroy his second unit this turn. Araman again. Doom Bolt onto the forward fire warriors here. It's a 6 and a 6. That is a double 6.
Okay.
Pedals of the warp.
He takes.
He takes 2 mortals.
How much does he do?
He does 1. Oh dear, chef. Right, folks, that in fact marks the end of the turn. Pretty swingy psychic phase there. Perhaps Chef deserved to kill a few more models, I'm sure you'd all agree. However, Araman is still alive, albeit at 3 wounds, and there were no charges being declared because, of course, the Plague Bearers, pretty much everything here in the force, actually advanced, folks. So he's not able to declare any charges, no strats to do that or anything like that. So he did get Butcher's Bill. He did kill 2 units of drones, and because he's killed 2 units, he gets Butcher's Bill for that. Any other secondaries? Recon again?
Yes, recon again, because I've got unit there,
Yep.
I've got a unit there,
Yep.
I've got unit there, I've
Yep.
got characters in the middle which can kind of go wherever they want.
Yep.
And that was an engineer's unit.
And that was an engineer's unit as well. So you now have scored
So
Butcher's Bill, 1 for recon and 1 for engineers. So he actually got 3 points that turn.
from my secondaries, and then another 2 for hold 1, kill 1.
Yeah,
in,
so
in my
5
turn.
points in that turn.
I'll
Not bad at all.
accept that, given how bad that psychic phase was.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so Chef, that puts you on a total of 8 points, I believe, at the end of your
that
battle
puts
round
me
1.
on 8 at the moment.
8 at the moment. Okay, let's see what happens. It's Mr. Bones' turn 2 coming up next. Let's see if he can score more points than Chef. It's turn 2 for the Tau, and a wall of shield drones has been built, covering the gap between the 2 structures here. He is determined to defend his lines from the oncoming hordes. In terms of any other shuffling, it doesn't look like you've done anything really other than moving the
Move the
commanders.
commanders, and I move these guys back behind the protection of the shield wall.
Sure.
And I'm going to do Moncal, so it was on units that didn't move. So it would be boom, 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 and that's it.
Do you mean carry on?
Yes, I do.
Carry on, yes.
Because you can do Monkar on units that didn't move, but...
And it will obviously get him as well as this Fireblade here. And it will get these 2, they are called
Pathfinders?
Pathfinders. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, fantastic. So that's a movement phase. Bones still clinging on to the 1 objective, although engineers will, of course...
And that's my engineers unit
exactly,
there.
that will kick in for him at the end of this turn also. So anything else in the movement phase?
So, guns.
Yep.
Guns are up. So can I shrug those with
Okay.
the sense of stones obviously going off
Yes,
as well?
sir. Okay, the
so
first,
the first one,
no.
no.
The
Second
second,
one, no.
no.
Third one, yeah.
Third, yes. Okay,
very
fair
nice.
enough. That's the admin done for the movement phase. Let's get into the action. It's the shooting coming up next. Okay, team, here we go. We're in the shooting phase. Couple of things that Chef has just declared as well, which we should tell you. Locus of Fecundity has gone off, so all of his disgustingly resilient rolls for pretty much all of the Nurgle demon units, because of where this
The Bile Piper.
Bile Piper is, will be rerolling 1s on disgustingly resilient. Furthermore, Warp Surge yet again on the forward unit, trying to protect
need them to
them.
live.
Also, Chef did roll for Helm of the Third Eye off camera, but didn't get the command point back. So it's now Mr. Bone. What are you doing?
Right, so that was 2 stratagems, is that
Two
right?
stratagems.
Cool, and then I'm going to spend stratagem from the Cold Star here onto this Riptide, so I'm going to do command and control node.
Okay.
So I need to roll 3d6, because it is a new battle round. No. So I spend 1,
And
and
Helm
you
of the
can see if you
First.
get 1 as well. You
He does.
Huzzah.
As we go
Very
into
good.
the ACP.
Very nice. Okay, so command and control node has been put on him, so he's also re-rolling wounds.
Great.
Right, so let us start off with some Markerlight goodness. So we'll start off with my boy over here.
Okay, the Fireblade's just there.
Yep, so he's going to fire into this unit here.
Got it. Okay. That's
Okay,
definitely a hit.
That's a hit. Cool. So I've got 1 on there. I'm going to now spend the D3 on that.
Okay, uplink marker drones. This is another stratagem being
So
used.
first of all, how many are added?
Can't quite see
3.
that, my friends. 3. Oh,
Very
big
nice.
news.
Do I
Okay.
spend that CP?
4 on there.
I
and
do.
He does.
Okay, very good. So then we will come over to this unit here.
Yep.
They're going to fire everything into them.
Okay.
Just because I want to make sure I light that up.
Sure.
I do.
He does indeed.
Very
Okay, so they are maxed out. There we go. Interesting. So we go on to the big guns straight away. This left Riptide,
Don't mind me, I'm nervous.
dropping dice, is going to be opening up on this Plague Bearer unit. Now, obviously, this is line of sight blocking, but between the top of the missile pods and between just seeing here, because he's gone quite hard left, he can see that unit no problem.
Yeah.
So here we go. What are we opening with first?
So we'll start with the heavy burst.
Sure.
I'm not going to roll here. That will end badly.
Yeah.
Follow me, everyone.
All this glorious space we have over here.
So he is Callion, so it's 4's re-rolling now.
Yep. Because you're ignoring his -1. So you've got +1 with the Markerlights, and you'll be able to re-roll 1s. Or re-roll everything, sorry, but rather.
Cool, nice.
Yep, that's an excellent spread of hits there.
So now
and,
it's 3.
You'll be re-rolling wounds because command and control. No.
Correct.
Not that you needed it.
No, we didn't.
Wow,
Always the
really?
way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 wounds.
Okay, 15 saves. This is not Warp Surge, so it is a straight 5 up.
Okay, not good.
Okay.
Wouldn't have been good with Warp Surge, quite frankly.
No, pretty
12,
shocker.
right.
Of a roll there.
So,
So they're 2
But-
damage apart.
they are 2 damage a pop, so this... Oh god, how is it that someone said how to do this quickly? Was it roll them and then re-roll the fail? But because I've got re-roll 1s on here, it's going to get really messy.
Yeah.
I
Let's
think.
do them 2
I think
Let's just do them 2 at a time.
So
So
how many do you have to roll? 12.
So there are 12. So,
Okay,
I'll
so
count
the
them
first,
for you.
okay, 1 is dead.
one's dead.
Won't matter if I
dead,
re-roll the 1.
regardless.
Won't matter if I re-roll the
Three
1.
dead.
Lots it.
Passes.
Will be dead.
Okay.
Will be dead. How many have we done?
6 by my count.
Yep.
6. Okay. Okay. Won't matter with the reroll 1. How many are we on?
9.
Won't matter.
Won't matter. Reroll
Ooh,
that
good,
1
do
though.
that one. Saves
Huzzah! So I've
Okay,
saved 2
one
at the
more.
least. Okay.
Okay, so save 2.
So 10 a day.
10 killed from that previously fresh unit. Next up, we're on to the smart missiles. So 10 of those Plague Bearers slain.
Okay, rolling. Okay, so 4 hits. Rolling.
Four
Cool,
wounds.
so 4 wounds.
Okay, so
I only
1.
saved the 1.
Disgustingly resilient.
I saved 2,
Okay,
so 1 more.
So
is
kills another. So 11 from that fresh unit killed.
Yeah, nasty.
Not bad. Here it is. Riptide number 2. That's the one on this flank. Will now fire through. Can still get line of sight. This is an open gap over here onto these Plague Bearers.
Yes, so 4's re-rolling. Not bad already.
Very good spread of hits.
Nice.
Outstanding spread of hits there, folks. Now, he's not getting the full re-rolls on the wound here.
No, but it's just 3s.
And
Again,
an
wouldn't have
outstanding
Wow.
spread of wounds there, my
What's wrong with
goodness.
you, 5, 10, 15 again.
15 again. Okay. 15 5 ups.
So 5 ups, hoping for a little bit.
That's
more luck.
better.
Oh, he's definitely rolled far better on those saves, actually.
That's much better.
right. Okay.
Saved 8 of them. That's much better. So
7 go through. We'll count them out.
okay, thank you very much.
So the first kills
Ed.
one. The second
Loves it.
loves it. The third.
Nearly.
Okay. Fourth.
No. Just swapping dice for the.
Fifth.
Wouldn't have mattered.
The
Wouldn't matter.
sixth.
And the last one. No. Cool. Alright.
Okay, so
So you
kill.
saved 1,
Yes.
so 6
are killed. Okay.
All right, we're moving on to smart missile systems, folks. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Alright.
Cool. 4 wounds.
Wounds, you say? 3 wounds, I say.
Resilient
1
passes
wound, I
2.
say.
Okay, another kills. Right, we're over to the Fireblade, just in the rear here. He's opening up against the Warp Surged Plaguebearer units. Let's see.
So needing a 4.
He gets the 4.
So
Kills drone.
rolling 1 and knocked a drone over for my treble.
Nice.
We'll then come over to these 2 Pathfinders.
Okay.
I did do a morale for them off camera, guys.
Yes,
I
and
needed
passed.
yeah, I
Yeah.
passed. Cool, so needing 6s.
No, nothing there. Okay.
So then we'll come over to these 4 here.
Okay, so drones to drones now.
Yep. So 6s again.
Surge unit. No, nothing. 3 4s and a 3.
Cool. So unless I roll 4 6s now, I'm not going to be lighting those guys up, but that's all right. So yeah, the last 4. No. Okay. Cool.
Hey, fair enough.
They've shot.
Yeah, they've
Oh, of course they
opened
did.
up.
Yeah,
okay, so that's all of the Markerlights fired in the army, if I'm not mistaken, Bones. Is that
You're
right?
not mistaken, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Let's let him have a think, see what he does next. Right, we're doing the middle Riptide now, who can just draw bead on this unit of Nurglings, just over the cargo container here.
Yeah.
From his
Oh, yeah,
large
definitely.
body. Okay, so that's the heavy burst into the Nurglings,
Yeah.
and then the
Smart missiles actually
SMS.
will go into them.
Yes, because they don't need line of sight into that Plaguebearer unit over there. Okay,
Cool.
what are we opening with, sir?
Let's do the heavy burst. So it's 4
Great.
re-rolling.
Getting that Mont card,
That's a hit.
incredible for the turn it's used.
Yeah.
Although he has been rolling very well
He
even
has on
without
top
it.
of that, it's true.
Yeah. I'll take it.
2s.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11.
11, you say. 5 ups here. Oh, they are so dead. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I needed to pass 3 more saves out of that. Terrible.
Nurglings are obliterated. All right, then we got the SMS.
Okay. Nice.
Full house.
3s. 5 wounds.
Okay, 5 wounds.
Okay. So
Good spat saves there. Disgustingly resilient.
Okay,
Does
2
drop
more
2
are
though.
dropped.
Okay. Here we go. Tau Commander time. Cyclic Ion Blasters opening up against the Warp Surge unit. Please note he is not overcharging because of the -2 to hit.
Do not want to kill myself.
yes.
Okay, so hitting on 4s, I can re-roll 1s. Because
Another
I
chapter
minus
master.
2. Okay,
Nice.
cool. Nice. 3s. Okay, 4 wounds.
4.
No
He
wounds.
saves all of them because of Warp Surge.
Cool. Going
Okay.
to the next one. He'll do the same.
Second Commander just over there, folks. Okay.
Re-rolling those 1s. Terrible roll.
Yeah.
2
Does get 2
wounds.
wounds. 4s again required. Rolls
Okay.
2 3s. Disgustingly resilient.
Kills 2.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, the rear unit is 7 Fire Warriors firing into the
These ones here.
Warp
that's all I can
Surge
see.
Plaguebearers.
So 6 is re-rolling 1s. Okay, 3 hits so far. No, 3 hits. 2 wounds. 2 wounds.
Both saved.
Okay, very nice.
Okay, then we'll go into the 6-man unit, so I just need to remove 3. Okay, better.
All of these 5 warriors moved, didn't they?
Yeah, so
it's a
they...
shame you can't carry on.
No,
Yeah.
no. But, you know, that's... I wanted to protect them. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Still nice spread of hits
Yeah,
there,
that's
though.
good.
Okay, so that is 5 wounds.
Okay, I can
Okay,
drop
4
3.
go through. Discussing resilience.
I'll reroll those ones.
Locus of
Okay.
fecundity, so
Hazel.
saves another 2.
Are killed.
Fair enough. Only another 2 slain there. Do you have any other firepower, Bone?
Nope, 'cause I can't fight them because they're my engineers.
Yeah, that's right. Can't engage with them. You'd lose the point otherwise. So does that, in fact, mark the end of your turn, sir?
It does.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go over your points. So secondaries, you did get Reaper this turn.
I did. I've
You-
almost got 2 readers.
Yeah. So he's got 1 point there for the secondary. He's got engineers. That's another point for a secondary. Headhunter is still up for grabs. But you did hold an objective.
Yep.
And you did kill a unit. So it gets 2 there.
4 points.
Now, for the end of the battle round, actually, Chef killed more than you. Because he killed 2 drone
Well,
units.
currently. It depends what happens with
So
Oh, with the morale.
So I
Haven't rolled
can
the morale.
risk rolling 2d6 and hope for a 1
Yes.
and get some models back.
Yes.
Or I could spend 2 CP to guarantee that. Because that would be a 2-point swing,
Yeah.
which is what I'm going to do.
So you're going to spend
I'm going to spend 2 CP, so I don't get to roll for it because I just automatically pass.
Yes.
I do have to roll for them because they've lost 4.
Okay.
So I will roll for the unit in the middle. No, but picking the
doesn't
lowest
go
makes
off.
it 7, so I don't. No one runs.
Okay.
But yeah, so I spent 2 CP there, so you do get to see if you steal that because you've not stealed any of this battle round.
No.
Okay, but that means that now I have killed more, and it also denies him. It denies him denying me the kill more, so it is
Yes.
a 2-point swing technically.
Yes, yes, we get what you're saying. Okay, so therefore, Chef, what is the total that you're on now at the end of battle round 2 after you take into account the facts that you hold more and kill more?
So with hold more, kill more, that puts me on 10.
Yep.
Bone has kill 1, hold 1, and he got engineers and reaper, so that puts him on 7.
Okay, so the demons are in the lead. The board control for the past 2 turns now, slowly starting to creep up on the tower. However, as Bonus stated, this is a bit of a patient hunter army, so perhaps he will score all of those additional points that he needs in the oncoming turns. We're still in the early turns of the game.
Yes,
Let's talk
very early.
to the players. We'll kick off with Chef again. That's coming up next. Mr. Chef,
Yes.
let's have a chat. How's it going?
Yeah, it's alright. Losing that many from that unit was both simultaneously surprising and also not surprising.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I was baited with the Warp Surge. Perhaps it would have behooved me to split my defensive abilities because I had miasma on them and then Warp Surge that unit.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, it's okay. I don't mind because the unit wasn't wiped.
Yes.
If the unit was wiped, then obviously that would have hurt a little bit. But, you know, so I mean, with a 3-point lead, that's okay because now I can start going for continuing the board presence, continuing to hold more.
Yeah.
And with my characters and their speed, I can start going for those bonus points as well.
Yeah.
I have an engineers unit at the back. I've still got enough presence to do recon every turn. There's still small units that I can do for Butcher's Bill.
Absolutely.
And with some of my targeted psychic powers, perhaps I can start weakening the bigger units so that I can do them in later turns. So I have some plans. I have some tricks. All in all, again, the turn went about as well as expected, barring my awful psychic phase.
Yeah.
I mean, it still did the work. It still got me, 2 points. It got me, 3 points really, because I killed 1, killed more on Butcher's Bill.
Yeah. Certainly didn't go as badly as the dice indicated.
No, but it
Stone
just
got a bit lucky on saves, and then you got unlucky on the amount of the volume of missiles,
precisely.
didn't you?
Yeah. So it just would have been nice to do a little bit more damage to the damaging parts of his
Yes.
army, not just the support aspects.
Yes.
But that's fine. Again, similar to this tower list, it is a slow burn. Obviously, he's doing the damage from turn 1 and I've needed till turn 2, but now that I'm closer I can start potentially going in with a bit more powerful stuff. Yes, the Overwatch is going to hurt, but once I've started clearing away some of the drones, clearing away some of the Fire Warriors and the Markerlight support, yes, he'll have the Riptides, which you can't pin down. It's impossible because of fly. So I just won't charge them.
Yeah.
You just leave them alone and go. Your
I'm going
Overwatch
to try and kill everything else.
your Overwatch is better than you normally try to hit against Nurgle, which is just a bizarre.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Bizarre concept.
Yeah.
That unit is still bang on 20. Yes,
so
there's still
you
the
still
minus
have the
one for Cloud of
negative.
Flies,
Yes.
which is nice. That unit is, that's
So
fine.
how many are left in this unit now?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The conga line
in there.
did go along
Yes,
this way,
it
so
did.
there's
So
8 left.
I did that precisely for the Bile Piper and the Scrivener range at the time, and then
Yeah.
I've obviously moved them later.
Sure.
But they are an engineer's unit,
Yes.
so I can use them a bit more defensively now. I could perhaps run them back.
Just to help that
And
objective
sort
at
of
the
swap
end.
round with my other engineers units.
Yeah.
So they still will have a use. And again, they're one of those things where it's kind of, if I move them out of line of sight now, he's only got smart missile systems to deal with them.
Yes.
Which will make it quite difficult for him to kill them
Yeah.
for a point. They're not
Yeah.
an easy kill point.
No.
So they can still kind of work in my favour, which is good. But we shall see. I need a few things to go right in this psychic phase here. Yeah, I've got some plans.
Okay, all right, very interesting. Well, we'll catch up with Bone next to see what he thinks. Mr. Bone.
Yes.
Right, talk to us. How is it going?
I think it's going all right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost wiping that unit. That was good.
Yeah.
I'm going to get charged, but I've got my shield wall up here.
Yeah.
When that happens as well, he's going to eat a lot of Overwatch.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few things in range for greater good, depending on what Chef charges, actually, because don't forget this drone unit goes all the way back here.
Yeah.
So if he makes that mistake, I will capitalize on it, because then my Riptides will get to shoot as well.
Right.
So just depending on what he charges, I get a free round of shooting this turn, which is good, but we are going to get all of this. We'll get these guys probably as well. So yeah, could be good. Could be a very good turn.
Okay, so the plan, as it were, is everything's going as planned, I guess.
Yeah,
For you?
I mean the board control was always going to be an issue,
Yep.
unfortunately, and so this is kind of, I should have brought broadsides, right? But it is what it is. But soon I'm going to be able to start pushing out. It depends how aggressive Chef wants to go this turn as well. If he starts jumping in with like Demon Princes and things like that, then I'm going to start getting my Headhunter points next turn as well. He's not going to be able to get to my juicier targets, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll just see. We'll just see. I think I've set up in a way that my next turn could be quite brutal. It just depends how Chef moves, really.
Okay, so despite being 3 points down, you are playing the long game.
Yeah,
so very cool.
I'm not concerned.
No,
about that.
no, you seem calm and confident.
No, I've got
collected.
Yes,
A patient hunter. So on that note, let's see what happens. It will be Chef's turn 3. That's coming up next. Okay, folks, here we go. Very interesting movement phase has happened here for the forces of Chaos. A couple of key advance rolls have been made. First up, he did roll a 6 on the advance roll for the heavily wounded bunch of Plague Bearers. They've now all scuttled back here and are in fact completely hidden by the looks of it. Of course, not that they can hide against SMS. Meanwhile, over here, the Scrivener got a 6 also. This is key because he's now within 3 inches of this objective. Meanwhile, he has the Poxbringer, who's within 3 inches of the central objective, and he has this Demon Prince here within 3 inches of this one. That would award a bonus point in Crucible of Champions at the end of the battle rounds. Or is it the player turn?
End of the player turn.
Right, so at the end of this turn, so he has in fact definitely scored it already then, and he'll get a bonus points for that, because that's the bonus points available in Crucible of Champions, having a character, 3 characters hold 3 different objectives. Very cool. Meanwhile, the conga line from the rear has continued to flood its way across the boards, and of course the central blob of Plague Bearers have moved ever closer to the drone wall. So we'll see what happens. Big psychic phase coming up, no doubt. Let's see what he does. Gaze of Fate is to be cast here for that free reroll from the Prince.
He does do it
He
this time.
certainly does. He does it super gaze. Okay.
Yeah, so I get D3 for that, right?
Yeah.
No.
You get D3 free rerolls.
Huzzah!
So, question is, what are you going to be doing now, Chef?
So now we are then going to do Miasma Pestilence on the 20-man blob.
Copy.
So there's 20 there, which is just ideal.
To kill one more.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So Miasma Pestilence goes off.
Okay, Miasma Pestilence, fair enough. So that will be another -2 to hit them, normally. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And do you know what you're casting next, sir?
So I was going to cast Nurgle's Rot, and then I remembered that it affects friends and foes.
Right.
So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cast Smite.
Fair enough. Smite from the Prince. The Nurgle Prince specifically. That is definitely successful.
They're obviously the closest.
Alright. That is just the one mortal wound.
Shrug.
Fails to
Don't know
shrug.
why I'm using your dice.
That's what you get.
So that's a shield drone destroyed there. Okay. Are you happy for us to continue, or do you want to think?
No, I need to have a think
Fair
now.
enough. We'll now move on to the Exalted Sorcerer, just behind that Nurgle Prince. He's also casting a Smite to begin with.
Smite.
Oh, he doesn't have
So
a plus
close.
one, does he? Okay.
No, he doesn't have a plus one.
So
But
that
it
goes
is
off, and it is the big 3.
And it's
Okay.
on.
It will be on that lone one, yeah.
On the lone shield drone. Oh, he nearly shrugged it as well. Oh, we have consideration here.
I mean, because it would.
Do I smell a reroll?
Yeah, I'm
coming?
going to go for it.
He's going for a reroll. Command reroll. Doesn't get it though.
Do I
Okay.
spend it? No.
He-
And do I Helm of the Third Eye it?
Yes.
Sorry,
do.
we keep interrupting.
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. So that's a unit killed, just as a point of reference there, folks. So Chef will get a point for that. Okay, and then you're going on to what power for him?
Infernal Gaze is coming
Yep.
from the same sorcerer onto the 2-man Pathfinder.
Right, okay.
No, it's
it's
not.
not.
That's okay.
Cool, he allows that to go. We instead now go to Adaman, who will do Zinch's Firestorm on those lone 2 Pathfinders.
Yes, he
Adaman
will.
does cast it. Okay, so 9 dice, 6s for mortal wounds.
9.
Okay,
They did.
3 6s, not in sense of Stone Range or anything like that, so that's another unit killed there for the Forces of Chaos. Adaman again now casting Doom Bolts on the unit of 9, the one that are stringed around there. Okay,
Yes, he
he
is.
certainly does.
At least he
cast
didn't
it.
perils this time.
No, not this time.
Very close.
Okay,
So that's D3 on them.
just the one.
Okay, I'll take another
Just
shield drone.
the one. It does kill a
Okay.
shield drone. Okay, do you know what you're casting next, sir?
Yes, we are going to come back to Araman because we are now going to go on to the Demon Prince.
Yep.
He is casting Infernal Gateway.
Okay, Infernal Gateway. from the
Infernal
Prince.
Gateway.
Yes. Infernal Gateway.
So I'm going to use my free reroll for the command point.
Okay.
Command point? No.
No.
Gaze
Your
of Fate
Gaze
is
of
what I
Fate,
meant.
yes.
Doesn't matter, doesn't go off.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just go to a smite with him.
Smites.
Yes,
Yes,
we will.
that does go off. D3 yet again. It is the big
this
3.
time. So that'll
Fair
be
enough.
on this unit here, I believe.
Yeah, cool. Nope, alien's
Yeah,
killed.
okay. So, just as point of reference there, folks, that's the 3rd unit killed. Will matter for things like killing more, etc. And of course, Butcher's Bill has gone off on that 2nd unit there this turn. Do we know what we're casting next, Mr. Chef?
We are then going to go back to Araman.
Okay.
Because he's got one more power to cast, which will be a smite.
A smite from Adaman. 6,
Does
7,
go
8, 9 goes off. He
3
gets
again.
the big 3. Not insignificant there. Oh, but he shrugs 2. Kills 1. Very nice. That brings us to the shooting phase. Now, normally it wouldn't be a shooting phase. However, we do have 2 pistols in range. Haha!
Huzzah.
But we also have a stratagem.
Yes.
The stratagem, which was fluffed the first.
I'm going to think about doing it. I'm gonna see how we get on with the measuring and stuff. But,
Okay.
I'm definitely going to shoot my pistols into
Okay,
those
so
shield
should we
drones.
open with the pistols then? Sir?
Yeah, I'll just do them both at the same time because they're not in range of anything else.
Okay. 2 hits.
They will both hit.
To wound, forwards.
One
One wound
wound.
there. Okay, and can we get a save?
Save,
Yes,
cool.
we can. No worries.
So let me
Right, so you want to have a
ponder.
little measure then on that
Yes.
coruscating beam. We'll see if he can do it. Okay, folks, this is an interesting turn of events. Chef did do some measuring. He has decided against coruscating beam. He couldn't quite justify the outlay of those 3 CP.
No.
He wasn't getting enough of the units that he wanted. There is no charge phase either. Another twist in events here.
They will hit me better on their Overwatch than they would in their turn.
Interesting. So
Which-
you are literally, he just said off camera, I'm playing the long game.
Yeah.
I'm playing the Tactica
Gonna play
game.
the Tactica.
So what a twist we have here, folks. Very interesting. Now, there's one morale check to make for this single drone here, because I lost 3 of that unit.
He's fine.
He's fine. It's not a problem. So as we hit the end of your turn, Chef, you of course get a point for Butcher's Bill.
I do.
You get a point for a bonus point for the Crucible of Champions.
I do.
You get another point for recon, if I'm not mistaken, sir. You do have a unit in every
Yes.
corner of the board.
Indeed.
Or every quarter, rather. And you, of course, hold an objective and you killed a unit.
Yes, I do.
So,
I have done it correctly.
Yes. So, okay. So, racked up a lot of points there. Again, Chef.
6 points there.
6 points. My goodness. So, is that putting you on a total of 16 now?
It does indeed.
Wow, okay. Well, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the Tau decide to do next. That's coming up. Their turn 3. This is it, turn 3 for the forces of the Tau, and we have seen a massive response from the Tau castle. It has now split up. We have the Cyclic Ion Commander, which has come all the way over here, accompanied by some drones, and is within 3 inches of this objective there. We have the Cold Star over here, holding this objective. Well, technically not holding it yet, but is over here. Obviously the Plague Bearers are currently on that. And meanwhile, over here we have Triple Riptides has moved forwards, along with the commander in the rear and the rest of the forces. The engineers unit has remained stationary, if I'm not mistaken, Mr.
Yes.
Lowe. Cool, so that they can continue to score that there. But everything else is shuffled forwards. He's very much pushing back against the tide now.
No choice.
Because he has no choice, Mr. Bone says. So he needs to now start closing that deficit in points that he's been losing out on, and he needs a big round of shooting here to start laying some pain. So he is set up with characters on the 3 objectives here to potentially try and score that bonus point himself in Crucible of Champions, but he will need to do some killing in order to achieve that first.
It's a fool's hope, but a hope nonetheless.
So let's see if Mr. Bones' Fool's Hope will be a success. It's his shooting phase coming up next.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
Of course, we got to roll for your...
Yeah, we're going to do... yes, we have to go to do guns.
Yep.
Okay. So I will
overcharging?
give... I'm going to branch as well.
And I'm assuming Sense of Stone has gone off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can have a 3-up invulnerable. So do I spend that CP? Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do I steal that CP? No, I don't.
Ooh.
Okay. So, guns. So,
Okay,
to
ignore the wounds.
no, and
Ignore the
no.
wounds.
Cool.
Okay, so all 3 Riptides do lose another wound there. But that does conclude the admin for the movement phase. We'll go right into shooting coming up next. The Fireblades back here holding this objective is doing the Markerlight into this unit of Plague Bearers, and Chef immediately declared Warp Surge.
Yeah, I learned from my mistake last time. Don't do it on the guy with -2. Probably don't need to.
So you're splitting your defensive
Yes.
balance. Okay.
Here we go.
Yep.
I hit. So I'm
It's a
now
hit.
rolling 1s.
Okay.
I'm going to spend a CP to get
Uplink.
the D3 uplink.
It's the big 3, so they've already got 4 lights on them.
Do I get that
Excellent.
CP back? No.
No, okay. Helm of the Third Eye, no. Okay. What are we doing next, sir?
So we'll then come over to this guy here.
Okay, Fireblade in the rear.
So do I hit? I do.
He does.
Very nice.
Okay,
So full
so
markers.
full
Okay.
house on the big conga line of Plague Bearers here. This unit of drones here will put 4 marker lights into the Plague Bearers just in front of them. Now these are -2 to hit currently.
Yes, but I have no other targets.
Yes,
so
indeed.
First one, no.
Second one, no. Third, and the fourth, no.
Cool, we'll just
Okay.
move on to the next
Okay,
unit.
so more marker lights coming into the same target. No.
Yes.
That is a hit. Okay.
Cool, so I've got 1 on there.
Still just the 1.
Ah.
Okay.
And then I'll fire this unit of 5 at them as well.
Okay, unit of 5 at the rear there. Can we roll the 1?
Doesn't really matter. Cool.
Yeah,
Two
it's-
Markerlight. You can fire a Seeker Missile. Hooray!
Fair enough. Marker lights are fired. Let's see what Bone does next. Command and control node has been declared. From the commander onto the middle Riptide, who is firing everything at the conga line of Plague Bearers here. Okay.
I'm actually sorry. I'm
No.
going to do it on him.
Okay, no
just
problem.
because if Chef does decide to start removing from here, then he wouldn't be able to see.
Got it. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, cool. So, boom.
For what it's worth, I wouldn't have done that. There's a fusion commander right next to me.
Sure.
You never know.
Didn't want to
But
expose his prints.
You never know exactly, Shep.
I might have risked it.
You might have risked it.
I wouldn't have risked
For
the,
a biscuit.
No.
Okay,
No
cool.
biscuits
So
that tasty.
it will be 4, 3 rolling 1.
Yes.
Nice.
Very good spread of hits there, folks. Okay.
Okay, and then 3s. Re-rolling because of command and control node.
Yeah. Useful that. Okay.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 wounds.
11 wounds. This unit is warp surged. So
Yes.
4s.
Yeah.
See what he can do here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good roll.
Yeah,
One
that's
above the average there.
Pretty good. And then, so only 4.
Okay, so 4 go through, so he's going to do these 2 at a time.
Well, he's dead.
He's dead.
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 Third one, dead.
Dead.
Fourth one.
Survives.
So you kill 3.
Oh, the Riptide only kills 3. Wow. Tough break there. Alright, we've got SMS coming in. Rerolling that 1, no. Okay, hits. Wounds. Okay.
Cool. So 5 there, 6.
6 wounds. Passes 4.
Okay,
But
so
does
now
drop 2
2
to disgustingly resilient.
Okay, also, do I get that command and control back? I do.
He does. Okay, so
Cool,
did
so
not
still
spend that
4
CP.
Right. Do I steal
And
it?
does Helm of the Third Eye go off? Okay. Fair enough. Riptide down. Let's let Bone have a think.
So.
Or you have something to add?
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide if I'm actually going to put focus fire into them
Oh, I see. Okay.
for the +1 to wound. It seems sort of like overkill, but if I don't actually remove this unit this turn, I can't win this game, essentially. Right. Oh, well, I could, but it's getting very difficult now.
Yes.
It's weird, it's an anti-meta list.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn the 3 CP.
Yeah.
Why not? Do I get one? Oh no, I've already got that down.
Yeah.
Cool. Steal it,
Okay.
just quickly.
I do.
He does. Okay, so Chef gets a CP there. Alright, so you do have the +1 to wound on this unit now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if that counts. With that team, we do go over to the middle Riptide. So he's committed now. He's launching everything into this conga line of plague bearers.
Yes. Rolling the 1.
Good spread of hits,
Yeah, not
considering
bad.
Beaumont car, but still. Now, he
2s
is
now.
wounding on 2s. Okay,
Two
okay.
that's right.
It does make a
Does
difference.
make a
It
difference.
make a big difference.
1, 2,
yes.
3, 4, 5, 9.
9 wounds. Okay.
Have I counted that right? Yes, I have. 9.
Okay,
1, 2,
9.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He's looking at 4s. It's the thing. Warp surge on them. Drop. Oh my goodness. He's rolling very hot here, folks. Again, above average. Disgustingly resilient.
First one kills 1.
Kills 1.
Second one kills
Kills
1.
2.
Final one.
Double 6 again on the third one. Incredible. Okay, we've got the SMS coming through now.
4.
Okay, 4 hits.
4 wounds because
yes.
of the +1.
Okay, drops 2 there. Disgustingly resilient. Does
Okay,
drop
number
2
2
there.
are
So another
killed.
2 plague bearers.
Okay,
Right.
last
and
Riptide.
The last Riptide, he's going to put everything into that unit. He's committed, as we've said. He does have that +1 to wound. Okay. Heavy burst cannon. Scores a few more. Now 2s.
Okay,
they all
so
wound.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 wounds.
10 wounds here.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
Finally.
it's come back round. It's
Okay.
inevitable, really.
So,
Applying the pressure.
8 there. Okay.
Okay,
Cool,
so
thank you very much.
8
The first one.
first. He kills 1.
Okay, so this is where I can probably roll them because I've got no of the
don't have
other
reroll
rerolls.
ones,
So I've
no.
got 7 there.
Yep.
So any successfuls, I reroll.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So one is saved.
1
from
is
that,
saved.
but 7 are killed.
Okay, 7 killed there. That Riptide really did a lot better than his 2 brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, still got the SMS.
Okay.
Good spread of hits again. And then to wounds.
73.
Gets 3 wounds.
so
Does
save
get too
2.
so disgusting.
Ugh.
Oh,
Okay.
on the head? No.
Yeah,
Kills
that's what you get for that.
another.
So 8.
Fair enough. So 3 Riptides have spoken, and out of that, I'm not sure exactly how many Plague Bearers have been slain.
I will tell you shortly.
All right. The Tower Commander over here now forced to fire his fusion into the Plague Bearer units. Nothing other to shoot at. Something else.
We roll a 1.
Okay. That's 4 hits. Oh, minus
minus
1.
1 with the +1. That is 4 hits.
Did you advance?
I did.
Yes.
But I ignore advancing because you've got 4 Markerlights on there.
Of course.
Yes.
Yep,
So,
acknowledge.
yeah, there we go.
We got there in the end.
Huzzah, everyone!
2.
Layered modifiers.
3 wounds.
Okay, 3 wounds there.
So 4 ups here. Save 2. The damage.
D6.
2.
You are within
and the highest.
fusion range.
Oh, yeah.
5.
Okay, so for what it's worth,
Resilience. That is 1 dead.
but 1 is
Plague Bearer. Okay, folks, we're now onto the Fire Warriors back here. They're firing into the Plague Bearers just in front of them.
yeah, so, okay, so
rapid
it'll
fire
be
action.
6 re-rolling ones.
Got it.
Okay, 5 hits so far. Cool. Hits. That is 4 wins. 5 ups. And then resilient. Kills 1. Kills 1. The next unit, so I just need 3 dice.
Okay.
Three hits. There's another 1 in there. 4 hits. 5 hits. 3 wounds. 5 ups. And resilient. No, another 2 killed.
Okay,
Cool.
2 more Plague Bearers.
Come over to this commander. So he did advance. So I'm not going to overcharge.
Okay.
So it'll be 4 re-rolling ones.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Now 3s. Cool. So that's 5 wounds. Save 1.
Okay.
And then resilient. Saves 2. So 2 are killed.
Okay. Slowly whittling away here. Do you know what you're doing next, Bo?
I'm finishing my turn.
He's finishing his turn, everyone. Okay, so we can actually discuss the turn now. Some tough breaks there. Now there will be some morale checks to make, so we'll need to do that before we discuss the final points at the end of turn 3. So, Mr. Chef, you've got 2 morale checks to make. One for your Plague Bearer unit, which all the way along here, and one for the centre Plague Bearer unit.
Yes, so on the basis of the fact that I've lost 18 out of that unit, I'm
Yes.
going to spend 2 CP to Insane Bravery them.
Okay.
I'll take the risk of just not bringing any back.
Yep.
Because if I don't roll a 1, they're dead.
Yes.
So
and that would be a problem.
That would just be silly. But on the other unit, they lost 5 this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So they are in Biopiper range.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
again.
2 are dead. Well,
Okay.
they are banished back
And
to the wall.
they are now reduced below 20. So
Oh yes, very much so.
They will not be having an inbuilt -1 to hit. All right, so that is the end of the turn. It's the end of the battle round now as well. So Mr. Bone didn't kill a unit that turn. He did hold an objective though, so gets a point for that. He did get Reaper again, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yes, quite significantly actually.
Okay, so that would be another
Did I
bonus.
get 2 reapers?
I believe so, you know.
I'm just calculating that
We'll
now.
calculate, I can let you know.
Okay, if he's killed 60 plus models in the game, he would have indeed 3 Reaper points. So we'll check that in a moment. Still no Headhunter, but he did score Engineers yet again.
So 3
This
points.
unit over here. So he scored 3 points for certain, potentially 4 if he got another Reaper this turn. In addition to the 1. So let's see what happens. Mr. Chef did get kill more, and he did get hold more just. Because he's got these 3 objectives.
Cool.
Yes, so
it's 11 to 18.
it's 11-18. Okay, well let's talk with the players. We'll start off with Chef. That's coming up next. Mr. Chef! Okay, that's the end of battle round 3. How's it going?
It is. So, I mean, we are running away with the points, but... I mean, I'm not killing anything. That's fine. It's not what the list is meant to do. Not bringing any back for like 3 turns in a row is a bit upsetting.
Yes.
But it's okay. I'd rather wear the CP spent on auto passing and maintaining the bodies.
Yes.
Especially because those are my engineer units that are heavily depleted now.
Yeah, they're giving you secondaries, aren't they?
Indeed.
Okay.
That middle unit being below 20 and not bringing anyone back last turn is a problem.
I think Jig might be up there, Chef.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So now at this point, I've got to be a little bit careful because I'm going to lose a lot of my screening, which means that Headhunters is definitely going to be up for grabs. However, I do have ways of mitigating his own ways of getting Headhunter. So if I sort of spread out a little bit with essentially use the blobs, because I mean Reaper, he's got to kill 17 more models, which is what I have in Plague Bearers basically.
And then he's maxed out.
And he's maxed out on that one. Headhunter, however, he's not got any points on, so it's really about minimizing the amount that he can get for that. So what I'm thinking is essentially I utilize my characters a lot more defensively. Now, and just flood the board, the center of the board, and over here using all the bodies that I have. I'm kind of going to just sacrifice Reaper now, guys, and essentially give up the board control because he's just going to take it with all the.
When you say Reaper, you mean Recon? Is that
Reaper?
Oh, Reaper specific.
So I mean, I've got 1 point to go for Recon. So what I will do is I will ensure that I will definitely get that.
I see.
Essentially, just by as long as I've got a character in these 2 corners. I can essentially not throw away these units, but they're holding that quarter there, and I've got that unit over there holding that quarter there. So they can kind of just not sit there, but they can stay there, just spread out, maximize the coherency, and stop any of these characters and Riptides from landing in the middle, and thus opening up my characters. If I can protect the characters well for another turn from shooting, I should be able to win because then I can just...
So you're literally playing to suppress his scoring ability against you.
That's the plan. I mean, I'm 7 points ahead.
So good lead.
I mean, I'll almost certainly get Recon. I can almost certainly get Hold 1. Almost certainly get Kill 1. If I can kill 4 units. I'll be quite surprised actually because there's not actually a huge amount that I can do. But I have a plan. But it may involve sacrificing a character.
I see.
So it's almost, if I can sacrifice a point for, say, Headhunter, but it gives me potentially 2-3 points in terms of Kill More and Butcher's Bill, it's still a net gain. So I've got to do the maths. I've got to make sure that it all works out, and I have obviously my movement phase to do. But the game's gone about as I've expected. Just playing that long game. I've got a good lead on points now. I just need to maintain it. So if I throw away characters, that will be game. So I do need to be a bit careful.
Okay, very, very interesting hearing from you, Chef. All right, well, let's have a chat with Bone. That's coming up next. Mr. Bone. Okay, let's have a chat. What's going on?
Well, I'm in a spot of bother.
Yes.
There's not really... It's going to be very... I mean, there are 3 turns left, to be fair, and a lot can happen in 3 turns. But because Chef's lead is so substantial at this stage, it's going to be difficult for me to catch him. The not being able to clear out this chaff quick enough has been a slight problem. I have moved quite aggressively forward, though. So Chef is... he doesn't have to charge me, to be fair, but... he is, if he doesn't, I'm starting to push forward, and his characters, it's only a matter of time now till I start wearing these guys out, and then I'll be able to kind of storm through the center. We'll just have to see, really. It kind of comes down to what he decides to do. But it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one for me at the moment. Effectively, next turn, I should, because there won't be so many insane minuses, I should be able to clear the majority, if not all, of his Plague Bearers.
And that's the screen's gone there.
And then the screen's gone, and then I'll have 2 turns to kind of rack up as many points as I can. Because if I can get rid of all of those Plague Bearers, it actually becomes difficult for Chef to score points.
That is true.
So I've got to... we'll see what happens this turn. And then, yeah, I've got to make sure I capitalise on that, really. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, it is an interesting turn of events in this game. We'll see what happens. It is Chef's turn 4 coming up next. Let's see what he does. Here we go, folks. It's turn 4 for the Forces of Chaos. The movement is complete. The conga line continues, spread across here, holding not only this objective, but this objective, along with the Scrivener at the back here. Araman has fallen forwards slightly from
sideways.
the ruins, along with the Demon Prince. Both of them are holding a central objective, and the swarm of plague bearers continue to spread across the middle of the board and into those ruins. The noble Demon Prince has leapt over here and is looking at the drones and potentially the commander over there on that flank. So, interestingly, Chef is not holding 3 objectives with characters anymore. He is holding 2, but he said rather ominously just before the camera started rolling that perhaps that could be different by the end of this turn. So perhaps may indicate a charge or 2 happening. So with that in mind, let's see what he does in his psychic phase. Still controlling the center of the boards. Let's see what happens. Right, the Demon Prince in the center now. Gaze of Fate. Gaze of Fate.
Gaze of Fate.
Yep, that goes off.
Okay.
So he's got a free reroll there.
Free reroll there.
What's happening next?
So then he will cast upon. So this is a unit here, you say?
Yep.
Okay, so he's going to cast Gift of Chaos on them.
Yep.
So Gift of Chaos. If I roll higher than their toughness, they take D3 plus 3 mortal wounds. It's
Great.
cast on a 6. It is cast.
Yes, indeed.
So on a 5 or a 6. That's 3 plus D3 mortal wounds. 6 mortal wounds on that unit.
Wow.
Okay, so I've got 4 shield drones in there. So let's see how many of these I can shrug. None.
Oh dear.
Okay, then 2 killed.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. Exalted Sorcerer in the centre of the board now, casting Smite also.
Smite. Yes,
That's
he will.
Definite cast. Okay, D3.
2
Got
mortal
2 there.
wounds on that.
Yeah, so that was, they only had 2 marker drones left.
Okay, so
They are killed.
is that a unit wiped there?
Yep.
Just for reference? Okay, so we've got 1 kill. Fair enough. Do you know what you're casting next?
That Exalted Sorcerer is then going to cast. We're going to come back to him.
Okay.
We're going to do this Demon Prince.
So the Nurgle Prince.
He is going to cast Knuckles Rot.
Nuggles Rot. Okay.
So this is cast on a 7.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
That
So
is
everyone within 7 will take D3 mortal wounds on a 4+. It doesn't affect Nurgle units, which is nice.
Okay.
So it will hit that drone unit there, that Fire Warrior unit there,
Okay.
the Riptide,
Yep.
those 3 separate drone units, and the character.
Okay, got it.
So we've got a unit of 1.
Yep.
We'll do it on him. No. The first unit of 2. Do this front one. No. That unit of 2. No.
No.
The character. No. What have we got here? Unit of 9, is it?
Yes.
Yes. That will be 1 mortal wound on
Okay,
there.
I'll take that on a shield drone. Yep, 1's killed.
Okay.
On the Fire Warriors,
Fire Warriors. That
Yep.
does go off.
and that will be 1 of
Just
them.
1.
Cool, so they do have Sense of Stone.
Of course.
No, 1's
No.
killed.
And on the Riptide,
Riptide.
no.
No.
Oh, that
Okay.
could have gone better.
It could have. Okay, fair enough. We'll come right back. Araman's next up. Infernal Gaze. Oh, sorry,
Sorcerer.
the Exalted Sorcerer
Yes.
even. On the single drone.
Yes, he will.
Okay.
So on the single drone, he will take 3 mortal wounds.
3 mortals to shrug. No,
Nope,
he's
he's
got it.
dead.
Alright, so that's a second unit destroyed there. That's another Butcher's Bill. Do we know what we're doing next, Chef?
We will go to... I don't know.
Alright. Here we go, folks. We have the commander now. The prince doing a smite onto the commander.
That's a super smite.
That is a super smite, sir.
Yeah, come on, man. Give me a break.
It's absolutely horrific.
Right.
D6 mortals.
That's 6 wounds.
You have 1 wound left.
5 mortal wounds. Ouch! That is brutal on that commander. Infernal Gateway now onto the commander. This could be a killing blow. It is.
With a +1.
With a +1.
Not
6.
cast. Oh no, it is cast.
No,
It's cast on an 8.
I thought it was an 8.
It is. That's D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, so he's definitely dead. No need to roll. My goodness, that was brutal. Not only a third unit, but a significant kill there, denying him ultimately any chance of getting that bonus. Okay, now we're going on to the Poxbringer. Miasma of Pestilence on the central blob of Plague Bearers.
Yes, he does.
Very much cast. Yeah, okay.
I'm pushing my luck here.
Yeah. And then, what are you doing next?
Harriman. So, I need to consider.
Yep. Alright, we'll come right back. It's just Araman left. Araman has decided he's doing Zinch's Firestorm on the rear unit of drones, just by the commander there.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Okay.
It's the third 11 in a row.
Yeah, incredible. Absolutely incredible.
There's some other words I would use.
Yes.
Okay.
He's clearly been blessed by Zinch this day. Okay.
So, 9 dice. That is 2 6s on that 2-man unit.
Okay, so he's got to try and strike here. He's got a 1 and a...
Let's reroll that one.
Let's reroll it. Okay, no. That's another kill there, folks. Ouch. Doom bolts on the 2 shield drones. Doom bolts. The bolt of doom.
With the +1,
goes
it is
off.
cast. It is D3.
D3. It is
the
3
3.
mortal
Oh,
wounds.
No, they
Oh my
didn't.
Yeah,
God,
the unit of drones is destroyed. Therefore, all things protecting that commander have been removed. Grim in the dark. Right, so we got Smite from Adaman now into the drones.
Yep. But not a super.
No.
Which is a good thing. It's still 3.
3 mortals.
Can I shrug? Not a single one.
Oh dear, the entire drone wall is rapidly falling apart here. It's grim. Right, now, subsequently, we are in the charge phase. The Nurgle Demon Prince is declaring a charge against that commander. There will be an overwatch.
Yeah, I'm going to overcharge as well, because
Yes.
he's going to die anyway.
Yes.
Okay, takes some mortal wounds.
1 mortal wound.
He hits once,
and
then
takes
takes
another
another
mortal
mortal
wound.
wound.
Okay. And...
Cool, so he hits
okay,
once,
so
2 wounds. He does wound.
Does
So
wound.
-2. Okay.
Does.
D3 damage.
Take
3.
He's got a big 3 there.
Resilient though. I do take 3.
Okay, does take 3 at least.
Do
now
I
to
make
make
it?
the charge.
So I am going to use my Gaze of Fate reroll
Right.
and my Command reroll.
Okay, fair enough.
Because you have to declare them both at the
Yes,
same
you
time.
do, yeah.
That's better.
And therefore it pulls off.
Do I pinch it?
No. Okay,
So the
so
8.
in the prince goes.
that's
And
why.
noted, he is now, of course, on that objective. Fair enough. Fight phase coming up next. Here we go, folks. 7 attacks. He's got 4 wounds to take from the commander.
Hitting on 2.
2s. He can reroll the 1s. He built.
Okay.
That's a full house.
We're
It's
looking
3.
for freeze.
No rerolls here, but does score 4 wounds.
4 wounds at
-2.
-2.
Needs a bit of a power up here.
He's dead.
It was a valiant effort, but no, he is slain. That does mean a big deal here for the forces of chaos, because now he's uncontested. He's on that objective with a character there. He's on this objective with 2 characters here. He's on this objective with 3 characters there in total. That's 3 objectives. That means he's getting the bonus points for Crucible of Champions. And in the turn, of course, he killed a unit. And he held an objective, so there's 3 points. Plus he got Butcher's Bill, there's 4 points. Plus for the final turn available, he gets Recon yet again for 5 points.
And the engineers.
And engineers for 6 points. Chef, what is your total now, sir?
I don't know.
Something horrific.
I'll tell you in a sec.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll come back in the Tau turn 4 coming up next. Let's see what happens. Okay, folks, this is the movement phase, turn 4 for the Tau. This is a summary. As Bonus just said off camera, it's really a hope against hope, but worth the long shot just in case he can pull this back. He does need a perfect turn. A perfect turn to get a respectable amount of points and to open up the scoring of points for the last 2 turns of the game.
Yeah.
So we're overcharging, I'm assuming.
Guns.
Okay, let's do
so,
this.
Sense of Stone. No,
No, and no. Okay, so
cool.
wound a piece on the Riptides. That's the movement done. Do you know what you're opening within your shooting phase, sir?
It will be some Markerlights, but I'll come right back to that.
No problem. All right, this is how it's going down. We have the Fireblade at the rear here, putting a Markerlight into the 15 remaining Plague Bearers, screening those characters. Warp Surge has been declared.
So here we go. I miss.
Miss on the first shot.
Is that your Warlord?
No. And even if it was, I can't re-roll with the Puretide.
Oh, it specifies miss, doesn't it?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, that's fine. So, have I probably should have moved these guys, but I didn't. So they will fire into these guys here.
Okay, Markerlights into those Plague Bearers.
So, no.
Okay,
cool.
nothing so far.
Okay. I've got 4 here, it's not enough. We'll have a punt. No,
Nothing.
Okay,
Frustrating.
my Warlord will fire at him.
Okay, Warlord going on the Prince.
So I do hit him, so I'm rerolling ones there. Cool, okay.
Fair enough.
Let's see what we can do.
The markers. All right, folks. Horrific luck there with the Markerlights, but we've got the Fire Warriors. They're going to open up rapid fire into the Plague Bearers.
Yeah.
They are -1 to kill.
5s.
This is miasma.
3 hits.
3 hits. Sadly, no rerolls. 2 wounds. Okay. Makes 2 because of Warp Surge. All right.
Next one. Second. Bit healthier.
Okay.
Okay, so that is 4 wounds.
4 wounds this time. Drops 3.
Resilience saves none of them.
No, okay, does kill 3 Plague Bearers. Fair enough.
Okay, we'll move on to the first Riptide.
Okay, first Riptide, everything into this blob. So there's 12 remaining.
Yes.
Sadly, no markers, but if he gets lucky, he could cut them down. So let's see what happens. Heavy bursts. Looking at
4 hits.
4 hits. Okay. 2 wounds. Warp Surge does go through with 1.
And then the
Disgusting
Resilience. No.
kills 1. Okay. SMS.
2 hits.
3 hits. And 2 wounds. Drops 1.
Resilience. Kills 1.
Does drop 1. Okay. Gets 1 Riptide down.
So I'm kind of damned whatever I do at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll just go on to the next one.
Okay. Second Riptide will go into that same blob.
Yep.
And out of curiosity, Chef, how many CP do you actually have left?
I have 2 left at this point.
Okay, it's got 2 left.
Because fortunately I did regain 1 last in
Yes.
the round, so...
Better spread of hits there. Okay. And 3s. Okay. 5 wounds this time. Does fail 3.
So the first one...
Passes 1.
Second one,
kills
dead.
1.
Third
one
one,
kills 1. Okay, so kills 2. Plus SMS again.
So missiles. No hits.
No hits. Okay. That leaves just the 1 Riptide.
I'll just, at this point, I'm just going to fire it into that unit as well.
Okay.
I need to clear it out.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's try and get these characters. Does get a lot of hits there though. Wounds to wounds. 3, 4 wounds. Okay. Warp Surge protects 1.
First
2,
one.
1 dead.
Second one.
2
more
dead. So
kills.
another 2 Plague Bearers are slain. SMS.
Missiles. 2 hits. No wounds.
No.
1 wounds.
1 wounds, yes, okay. Does fail that. Resilience,
No,
no,
kills
does
one.
fail that. Does kill another. So in total killed
10 so far.
Plague Bearers. But I believe that is the end of the firepower bar the commander.
Yeah, so he's going to actually shoot into that.
That prince.
Or is he?
Or is he?
I'm not sure who's closer.
Okay.
So we're looking at about a 12 there.
12.
Yeah, no, this unit is closer.
Okay.
This model here.
Right.
So
okay.
he will fire into them.
Okay, so it goes
overcharge.
into the Plague Bearers. To hit.
Okay.
Okay.
So 3s. Okay, 3 wounds.
Another 3 wounds. I need to save. Does drop 2 there. Resilience.
Nope,
Does drop
2.
another 2. So he's killed 12 Plague Bearers in total. However, I believe that concludes the shooting.
Yeah, I feel that after that I'm kind of going to concede this game.
Yes, I can understand that.
yeah.
You needed a lucky turn there.
Yeah.
A very lucky turn.
But yeah, look, it's one of those things that it's weird because I've killed a lot of your stuff.
Yeah.
You've scored so many points. So the list actually does what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
It survives, right?
Yeah.
And against like Marines and stuff right now, I'd probably be starting to clear up.
Yeah.
But against a list like this that can just get all of the modifiers and stack them, when you can stack modifiers against Tau, it's game over.
Yeah.
It's like they just can't handle it. So that's it.
Okay, fair enough. We'll talk about it properly in just a moment, but I agree with what Bones said there. You can't get back into the game. It could have been interesting, maybe, if he did wipe that screen, because even if Chef failed a morale test now and they all left, which frankly he could just spend 2 CP on to auto past them anyway if he wanted to now, or it'd be really obnoxious and end up rolling his first one with the spoil box.
I wouldn't have insane bravery.
The thing is,
Fair
my next turn would actually, I'd probably kill quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's too
It's
late
too
in
late
the
now.
game because
Yeah.
that'd be what, my turn 5.
It would be his turn 5.
Yeah,
See,
I just
that's
can't catch you in the points.
exactly, that's the problem. That's why it's no point continuing with this now, because yes, he might kill all of the characters eventually,
Yeah.
but he hasn't scored enough
Yeah.
points now
Yeah.
to ensure that he can get back in the game with only 2 turns remaining. So with that, let's have a proper chat about it. Wow, what a game.
Yeah, there we have it. Not as close as the last Tactica that we filmed here for you guys, but that is the way a Tactica can go sometimes. And in the end, I think a couple of critical turns there. You got very lucky on your saves at 1 point, which meant that he couldn't quite get the momentum to bring your blob down below 20.
Yeah.
So that meant then he had to suffer another turn of
It was,
being
it was
minus
just
2.
that one guy left alive.
It makes a big difference, the additional
it's
modifier
huge,
against Tau.
Huge for Tau.
Yeah,
huge for
it
Tau.
does. It does. That, and I think when you went first, and then you immediately dominated the centre of the board,
it
so that
allowed
sort
me
of
to
took
do that.
away the control from the Tau in that respect, didn't it? And then on top of that, I think that turn where it could have actually swung back again, where you didn't charge, for me, that was the moment which really pushed you over the edge, as it were, because what that meant is that of course he had then yet again that unit of Plague Bearers surviving for an additional minus, because he knew if he did charge, he'd eat that Overwatch and it would probably reduce
I would have lost a couple on Overwatch, and then next turn you would just, all I would have been doing would be killing drones, and then you would have just gone, okay, cool, I'll fall back, and now, you're below 20, marvellous. So it just wouldn't have made any prudent sense. And that turn 4 psychic phase
it was
horrific.
I mean, the commander, 5 mortal wounds, and then you finished him
was
off.
gross.
Yeah, it was just absolutely.
It was super gross, and they did everything that they needed to, where they hadn't been doing it for like turn sort of 1, 2, and then turn 3 they started, and then turn 4 they just went, oh yeah, by the way, we're actually like massively powerful psychers.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it's just the list did what it's exactly designed to do, and the interesting thing is, we were talking about this off camera. It is an anti-meta list, because your
meta inception.
Your list is designed to do the exact same thing, just with more firepower. But when it comes up against those stacking modifiers, it just it kind of
Tau. That's
it
always
hits a
been,
wall.
That's always been their problem. Once you get modifiers, it's like when you play Drakari with Tau, with all those minuses, or Eldari and stuff. It's just really tough.
That's a problem.
It's really, really tough. I mean, for an army that has their entire everything about it is based in shooting, really, and this list kind of can involve movement, all that sort of stuff. But I had nowhere to go because when I didn't go first, that was just one of those things. But yeah, when you can stack on them, they just become useless. And it's kind of not fun to play, because it's like, I've got all of these shots and you just can't wipe them down. And then you were rolling really well as well with all of your saves. And at that stage, I don't know. I'm sure you guys will tell me I probably made 100 mistakes. So please let me know.
I don't think you did. It was just the army hit a wall of an army that it's not as good. I think it is an interesting comparison though, because it almost shows how this list is still good.
Yeah.
Would that list have done as well against the Space Marine list, who are just going, oh, it's -2 to hit, we don't care because we're re-rolling everything? Probably not.
No.
Well, no. This is where I stand with it. I think that the Tau list is still better against Marines.
Oh, 100%.
Because what happens is when you've got those, deep striking Raven Guard successors with long range marksmen, Centurions, which have all of those flamers and are auto hitting all of your plague bearers. I mean, they will be murdering.
Oh, it would be gross.
They would be murdering a number of models in their first couple of turns, which I think, and that's the kind of critical mass, that sort of tipping point against Horde armies, Chaos soups like this. You need to get rid of that screen early enough to ensure that you're then able to push out on the boards and start scoring the points back. Or I think reversely, if you had gone first, and I think you could get out into the center of the board yourself, which is what Richard tends to do by the looks of it, is he tends to go out and try and hold the center of the board so that he's controlling the assets. But when he went first and he's gone out in the middle of the board, you're like, right, well, you can't change that fact, and that's the way it can go in some of these competitive games. Sometimes you really need that first turn, or you really need that bit of luck just to tip it over the edge so that you can sustain yourself in the late game. Personally, for me, I find both of these armies, if you were to play them in a tournament scenario, they're both quite equally frustrating to play. One's the creeping death, and one's the also, I'm horrifically resilient, but I will just obliterate you with firepower, and if you're trying to get into combat with me, I'll also kill you with firepower. So they're both, and I think which is a good showcase for like a Tactica list, right? The Tactica game, because both of these lists, against in the right matchups, just obliterate the opponents.
Yeah,
they just obliterate them, and it's interesting that the Chaos, I have to admit, when I looked at the armies, I was like, well, the Chaos have taken a bit of a hit with these points increases, but actually, they seem to just still have just the right number of bodies, don't they?
Yeah.
Despite those points increases.
But again, it's an interesting one, because I think that's just because it was a Tau list.
Yeah.
Who just suffer massively through the modifiers and through lack of reliable rerolls, because they need to hit to get their rerolls, and even then it's only on one.
Yeah.
Again, something like that against a Marine list with a Chapter Master in there or infiltrating flamers, you just kind of go, oh dear.
I don't actually rate the Demon list against Marines
anymore.
I think, it used to be quite interesting, but with the points increases, for me, Marines pit them, but then we've seen that Tau can pit the Marines, so it's like a weird.
Will this kind
rock,
of
paper,
list?
scissors.
Yeah, will this kind of list make a resurgence? Because everyone's going to be going, oh well, if you break. Yeah, I mean, this is again part of the competitive meta mini game sort of thing, especially amongst ITC, but in other metas as well. Everyone knows that Marines are incredible.
Yeah.
But we've also seen people like Richard winning 3-4 tournaments, not small tournaments either.
No, he's consistently
with a Tau list.
Winning. Yeah.
So this is the thing that happens with the competitive scene, is people go, the Tau list is doing really, really well, I'm going to run a Tau list. You won't probably run it as well as Richard does.
Yes.
I know I certainly couldn't.
Yeah, I certainly don't. You just saw it.
But it will be that interesting thing of where people will be going, right, well, Tau are really good against Marines, and I'm expecting to play Marines a lot. So then it's almost like, well, what's going to counter Tau?
Yeah.
And it was the same sort of principle with when you had Knights. People would go, right, well, Knights were the dominating factor of the meta 12 months ago. So people were bringing far more anti-tank than they ever would have normally done.
That's right.
So people brought Hordes.
Yeah.
2 months later, Knights fell out of fashion thanks to the big FAQ. So it's then sort of kind of settled a bit, but then it went towards Eldari Flyers. So then everyone started bringing +1s to hit against Flyers, or all these anti-air stuff. And then Marines hit, and it's just kind of blown everything out. Because they can just do so much. It just scares me, quite frankly. But it'll be interesting to see if these kinds of lists, these resilient Horde lists, make that resurgence, as it were, given that Tau will probably be quite a big contender, I think, in the coming months, precisely because they do really well against Marines.
Yeah, but when I say they, or when you say they, let's face it, it's drone spam with Riptides.
Sure.
And
but
some people
that
might put the broadsides in,
Yeah.
So I mean, I still feel that actually the Tau Codex overall is pretty poor.
Oh, no, I
in
agree.
the meta
I
rankings.
agree.
You agree with that? I don't think it's a good book.
No.
What they've got is a couple of
Sure.
a couple of interesting clutch units, which actually, if you took away the shield drones, which don't get me wrong, I actually find quite a frustrating mechanic. It's almost obnoxious, you know.
I despise the
but it's actually all they've got.
Yeah,
but it
that's
is all
the
they've
thing.
got.
They have to have it.
If you changed the Savior Protocols mechanic,
Yeah.
then Tau.
See you later.
Yeah.
Because that's literally the whole codex is built around it.
Yeah.
I despise it because it's a bad codex mechanic,
Yeah.
and because you've had to build around it.
Yeah.
Give us jump, shoot, jump, and we'll both be
give us
extremely
jump,
happy.
jump. Let
Yeah.
me run a proper mobile shooty.
Far more
Tactic
interesting.
as well. We need
Yeah.
we need to look at the Markerlights as well. In my
Yeah.
opinion,
Agreed.
they need to change. We had an interesting idea where because the fact that you cap Markerlights as well, I think is quite weird. If you had like a tithe system for
Yep.
Markerlights, this was Chef's idea. It'd be really cool. So you shoot them all, and then you go right. So I want the extra +1 to hit. That's like 4 of those Markerlights gone. But
Yeah.
then you can load up, so you can buy other
sort of
things.
pay
as
for it.
well.
You do it
Pay
almost
as you
like,
go,
I think
right?
it was like
That's
I think
really
it
cool,
was
yeah.
like the 5th, 6th, 7th edition way of doing it, where so for those that never played in 7th edition, Tau or earlier, you would for every Markerlight you got a Markerlight token, and you could spend Markerlight tokens to do things. So 1 was like ignore cover, 2 would be +1 to hit for 1 unit.
Yeah.
But this was back when there were no modifiers. So now if you did something similar and you kind of go, right, well, it's 3 Markerlights to give +1 to hit for 1 unit. Okay, but you can go, you see that plane? I've got 6 Markerlights on there, +2 to hit.
Yeah.
Things like that. That would be, it might not necessarily be free. You could call it 1 and 2. If you've sort of balanced it to multiple units, if you've got 7 Markerlights on a unit, you go, right, well, I don't want them having cover, so I'm going to spend one Markerlight to ignore cover for my Riptide, fantastic. And then I'm going to spend 4 Markerlights to give him +2 to hit, so now he's hitting on 2s, great. But I've only got 3 left on there, what are my other Riptides going to do? Oh, I'm only going to be able to get 1 +1 to hit for that Riptide. And then I've got nothing, and then I've got nothing else on it. So that would help balance it out, and it would make them more interesting and dynamic.
Yeah.
But the whole, for a young, dynamic... in the fluff, for a young dynamic army that is constantly evolving its tactics, they're really bland.
Yeah, quite rigid in the
They're
play
very
style,
rigid in the playstyle, which is so upsetting for long-term Tau players like us.
I only picked them up really in 7th, but even then, like you could move around, jumping everywhere
great.
and stuff, and then like the formations. I feel like they're kind of suffering a little bit from the formations because
It's like with
towards the end of
Necrons.
7, it's like with Necrons. It's like with it's
The
Grey
Gladius,
Knights.
ironically.
Yeah, it's like Grey Knights.
Yeah,
Still
Grey
mixed up, and
Knights
that
had
was a
their-
long
their
time ago.
fifth edition, yeah.
But
Oh.
it's almost
I have
like when they
nightmares.
picked up and looked at the codex and went, "Oh, everyone really likes Riptide, so let's build a codex around a unit."
Yeah.
And they kind of,
Hey, I like Riptides. I think they look cool.
Yeah, they're very cool.
I'd like to see some other units.
But I'd like
too.
to see
I
some
want to see
other
Crisis Suits back.
Yeah,
Crisis Suits.
big time.
Iconic
yeah.
unit.
Iconic unit.
units. Storm Surges aren't even valid at the moment because
No.
they're toughness 7 with,
Yeah.
and they're super
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's
And the
just-
vehicles.
Yeah, and the vehicles.
So,
Well, yeah, I mean,
So Imperial Fists are like, oh, hello.
Riptides should be vehicles. Let's
Yes,
not,
they should. Yeah,
let's
yeah.
not joke around
They
that.
should.
And then that also would kind of balance out a bit with the Savior Protocols to a degree. Well, for one army anyway. But yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, it was an interesting one. It's a shame in a way because it was only ever going to go one way or the other with this kind of list
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, because the thing is that this list can be really dynamic and it can move and it can do all this really cool stuff, but not when there's 1,000 models in the center of the board, it just doesn't work. Well, it could work against orcs. I still think that if you were using like an orc horde, I mean, it would have been much
You would
better.
want
Yeah.
down.
But you wouldn't be having those modifiers.
there's no
For a start.
modifiers, no
For a
5 up,
start,
no 5 up.
It's just So it was an interesting litmus test. So if you're playing Tau and you have Chaos Demons,
Beware.
you're gonna do pretty well probably. Gonna do pretty well. And don't charge me. Chef did the exact right thing.
Yeah.
If you don't need to charge Tau, don't do it. Why would you? Why give me that extra round of shooting?
I'll just take the points.
Just take the points.
Yeah.
And ITC is built around that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can agree more.
I think once we've got more for the dragons in terms of those competitive units, guys, like Thunder Fire Cannons and Centurions and stuff, because we've got loads of Centurions on the way.
So you can see those lists.
I think we should definitely do a rematch using the Tau list against your standard Marine meta list
Yeah, the Marine build.
to really showcase what that list can do.
Well, we'll do that. We'll do that.
So in fact, we'll have all of the Centurions for that particular list. Very, very soon, the next couple of weeks. So
Nice.
yeah, so we'll plan that game. And anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that Tactica. It's always good to have a little talk about the meta in general as well, and the tournament scene. We take that opportunity to talk about them in these Tactica reports. So if you enjoyed this report and you want to see more Tactica reports here on Freeview, then give us a like and give us a comment below. Let us know you like it. And if you want to see even more, then go support us over on Demand, where we do these weekly. So until next time, this has been The Bone. I'm the Spider, and this is the Chef, and we'll see you soon.